Chapter 425. Boom! On this day, Wang Yu, who was in closed-door cultivation, suddenly heard an earth-shattering explosion in the sky above the Heng Yu sect. Wang Yu frowned. With the Heng Yu sect's current power, who dared to cause trouble here? I want to see who is so daring. Wang Yu waved his hand to open the door and walked out of the cave. Caw! In midair, a loud cry rang out. Raging flames tumbled and tumbled as a projection of a vermilion bird that was over 10,000 feet in length appeared in the air. The Vermilion Bird Decree. This is the Vermilion Bird Decree. Seeing the vermilion bird, the elders of the Heng Yu sect who knew the meaning of the vermilion bird ran out in surprise. A soul formation grandmaster has appeared in my Heng Yu sect. This time, the Suzaku decree will definitely raise the country of Zhao from a rank 3 cultivation country to a rank 4 cultivation country. The Yellow Dragon sect's head looked at the sky with joy and a bright smile. Boom! Another earth-shattering explosion echoed. Below the huge vermilion bird phantom, a dazzling golden carriage broke through the air. A figure wearing a high hat and a wide belt with an arrogant expression stood on top of the carriage. I'm the messenger of the Vermilion Bird. I'm here to deliver the Vermilion Bird Decree. The arrogant figure coldly glanced at the Heng Yu sect and spoke in a loud voice. Welcome to the Vermilion Bird Decree. The cultivators of the Heng Yu sect quickly bowed to the ground. Of course, this didn't include Wang Yu. The Vermilion Bird Decree of Nanming Xing says, I heard that a treasure has appeared in the Heng Yu sect in the country of Zhao. Only Heng Yu sect cultivator Wang Yu, who has reached the soul formation stage, can use it. Special Decree. Heng Yu sect cultivator Wang Yu is ordered to bring the treasure to the Vermilion Bird Sacred Mountain. This decree. The mighty voice echoed through the sky and the entire Heng Yu sect was in an uproar. Treasure? Could it be? That is the foundation of my Heng Yu sect. Zhu Kz is the leader of planet Suzaku, yet he dares to covet our sect's treasure? This is outrageous. This is going too far. The moment the Vermilion Bird Decree was issued, the entire Heng Yu sect was filled with righteous indignation. The Vermilion Bird Messenger glanced at the Heng Yu sect and snorted coldly. A vast force, like the power of heaven and earth, suppressed the Heng Yu sect cultivators and made them unable to move. Nascent Soul Cultivator, sect leader Huang Long felt bitter. With the Vermilion Bird Talisman Decree and the power of a nascent soul cultivator, no one in the Heng Yu sect had the power to resist. Even Wang Yu, the Yellow Dragon sect master, shook his head. Even if Wang Yu really was the reincarnation of a third-step cultivator, his current cultivation level was no match for Zhu Kz's. The Heng Yu sect was probably going to be destroyed. Where is Wang Yu? Come quickly to receive the imperial edict. Suppressing the Heng Yu sect disciples until they couldn't move, the Vermilion Bird Messenger raised his head and shouted, You're looking for me? The cold voice was like the howling of a cold wind, chilling one's heart. A cold-looking young man in a black robe stepped on the void and walked towards the carriage step by step. How dare you? The Vermilion Bird Talisman Decree is here. Why aren't you kowtowing? Are you trying to rebel? Do you want your sect to be wiped out? The figure in the carriage pointed at Wang Yu and shouted angrily. The power of a nascent soul cultivator rushed out like a tsunami. In this person's view, no matter how strong Wang Yu was, he was only at the soul formation stage. With the Vermilion Bird Talisman Decree in hand, Huan Suzaku dared to disobey? Not to mention, he also had the power of a nascent soul cultivator. Even without the Vermilion Bird Talisman Decree, with his own strength, he could kill several cultivators like Wang Yu with one slap. You want me to kowtow? Wang Yu coldly snorted. His eyes were cold. You want me to kowtow? Are you worthy? You're courting death. The Vermilion Bird Messenger was furious. As the Vermilion Bird Messenger for many years, who dared to disobey the Vermilion Bird Decree? When had he ever seen someone who dared to disobey an imperial edict? Call the wind. Wang Yu was too lazy to pay attention to him. He raised his hand and released the newly learned call the wind. Huff, 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 a gust of wind howled. A black storm swept out, destroying the world, exterminating all things, and shattering everything in the world. Screech, when this black storm rushed out, the vermilion bird phantom in the sky suddenly let out a furious cry, and with raging flames covering the sky and earth, it ferociously collided with the black storm. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion sounded. The violent tremors caused the world to rumble. The violent wind stirred up the surrounding chi of heaven and earth into chaos. Under this violent bombardment, the black storm and the blazing vermilion bird were annihilated at the same time. It's actually this strong? The vermilion bird messenger's expression changed greatly. His gaze toward Wang Yu was filled with shock. The vermilion bird decree wasn't just a decree, it was also a spell of the current Suzaku. Just how powerful was the spell of an ascendant cultivator? Destroying the entire country of Zhao with a single strike would be a simple matter. But now, the vermilion bird decree was destroyed with one attack? Could it be that he was also an ascendant cultivator? Damn it! The vermilion bird messenger's heart trembled. He took out a transfer talisman and activated it with spiritual energy. He planned to escape from this dangerous place. Stop! Since he made a move, he naturally had to kill all of them. Wang Yu pointed with his finger. The vermilion bird messenger's body froze like a clay puppet. He stood in the air, unable to move at all. The immortal stop spell could stop the body, stop the mind, stop the flow of time, and stop everything in the world. Although Wang Yu could only use the immortal stop spell, it was enough. Nirvana. The ancient god's finger, the domain of Nirvana. This finger pointed out, annihilating the life force, crushing the body. Bang! The beautiful carriage exploded into dust. The vermilion bird messenger also exploded into dust. The ancestor is mighty. With this attack, the entire Hengyu sect cheered. Well, this was the power of the ancestral hall. If it wasn't for the ancestral hall guaranteeing the loyalty of the sect's disciples, then once the vermilion bird decree appeared, everyone would have betrayed the sect. At the same time, in the Shuiyu country, under the flaming vermilion bird phantom, there was also a vermilion bird messenger loudly announcing the decree. Shuiyu country's red butterfly has arrived at the vermilion bird holy mountain. Red butterfly, quickly kowtow and express your gratitude. An ant-like thing dares to call me for an audience? You still want to kowtow and express your gratitude? Red butterfly sneered as a 5-colored light bloomed behind her. 2 5-colored butterfly wings spread out from her back, and a powerful aura rushed out. Butterfly dance, light of extinction. Her slender, jade-like hand waved and a 5-colored light shot toward the vermilion bird messenger. Whoosh! The vermilion bird phantom also blocked the 5-colored light. However, the rainbow butterfly god-slaying war chariot had the power of a corporeal young cultivator. With one attack, the vermilion bird phantom shattered. Stop! With another shout, the immortal stop spell froze the vermilion bird messenger in the air, unable to move. Summon the rain! Streaks of rain fell from the sky, drenching the carriage and drenching the emissary. Then everything was washed away by the rain like dust. Vermilion bird holy mountain. Bang! Bang! The 2 talismans exploded before Zhuke-zi. Bastard! How dare you! An angry roar echoed as a large amount of spiritual energy burst out and shattered everything in the room. Someone come, pass down my decree. Wang Yu of Zhao and Red Butterfly of Shui, you are both violent and unruly. Special order, order them to be wanted by the world. A decree was sent to the world. At this moment, Wang Yu and Red Butterfly were enemies of the world. Want me? I haven't even come looking for you yet and you dare to provoke me? Wang Yu sneered as he pulled out the moon-gazing blade. Then let's kill until the world turns upside down. Zhuke-zi, just wait for me to chop off your dog head. Chapter 426. Wanted all over the world? The multicolored wings on red butterfly's back gently stretched out, and the multicolored light waves of extermination surged out like a tidal wave, sweeping across the world. Countless cultivators from Shuiyu were turned to dust. Cultivator Wang Yu of Zhao and Red Butterfly of Shuiyu. Both of you are violent and unruly. Special order, wanted all over the world. The image of a vermilion bird appeared in the sky, and its voice spread across the world. The moment the decree appeared, countless cultivators in the entire snow domain charged toward Red Butterfly. Then they were all turned to dust by the rainbow butterfly god slaying war chariot. He is also wanted? When Red Butterfly heard Wang Yu's name in the decree, she smiled. This is interesting. She is also wanted? The voice of the vermilion bird order also echoed in the sky of Zhao. However, the entire cultivation world of Zhao was in Wang Yu's hands. Zhuke-zi's order was nothing. Hearing that Red Butterfly's name was also wanted, Wang Yu couldn't help but laugh. It seems that we are a match made in heaven. Wang Yu looked up at the vermilion bird image in the sky and snorted. Zhuke-zi dares to want me? He is seeking his own death. Clang! The plenilune blade came out of its scabbard and a ray of cold light shot into the sky. Waning moon. With a slash of his saber, the vermilion bird's phantom that was suspended high in the sky exploded with a loud bang and dissipated into thin air in an instant. If I want to fight, I naturally have to call for help. Wang Yu sheathed the blade and took out a message talisman. Red Butterfly, meet up with me. We will kill Zhuke-zi together. Okay. Red Butterfly put away the communication talisman and smiled. Let's kill Zhuke-zi together? That seems pretty good. A crystal clear light appeared in front of Red Butterfly. This was the heavenly fate pearl using the message talisman to open a transfer gate for Red Butterfly. This transfer spell is pretty convenient. Red Butterfly smiled. She took a step and arrived next to Wang Yu at the Hengyu sect. This is the Hengyu sect? Why isn't anyone attacking you? Red Butterfly glanced around and saw that all the cultivators of the Hengyu sect were acting as usual. No one was paying any attention to the vermilion bird talisman decree. Why would my sect attack me? Wang Yu smiled and looked at Red Butterfly. It looks like you're being attacked? With your strength and the rainbow butterfly god slaying war chariot, you don't have to worry about being surrounded. Yes. The cultivators from Shuiyu didn't cause me any trouble. Red Butterfly tidied her hair and smiled at Wang Yu. Since you called me over, how do you plan on killing Zhuke-zi? Don't worry, there are more people coming. As he spoke, Wang Yu took out a message talisman. Taizhu, a fight is about to break out. Come quickly. He stretched out his hand and tapped on the messaging charm. Then, a clear light flashed and a light screen was opened. Sea of Devils, Little Cold Mountain. Wang Yu from the state of Zhao and Red Butterfly from the Shui, you are both violent and tyrannical. Special order, put him on the wanted list. A huge vermilion bird phantom appeared above the Devil Cultivator Sea, and its mighty voice spread throughout the Devil Cultivator Sea. Boom! On the ground, a giant figure with a vast aura trembled. On its huge head, a pair of golden eyes instantly opened, and two beams of golden light shot out like pillars of light. Between his eyebrows, 3 golden stars shone brightly. This was Wang Lin's ancient god body. During his closed-door cultivation, Wang Lin's avatar had been absorbing the spirit energy left behind by Wang Yu and had reached the late stage of Jindan. The ancient god's main body had devoured more than half of the spirit energy left behind by Wang Yu. This was enough spirit energy to reach the soul transformation stage. After devouring more than half of it, the ancient god's main body officially lit up 3 stars. The one who improved the fastest was Li Muan. Ever since she obtained the bloodline of the Sealing Extermination clan, her talent had changed drastically. Even without any other resources, just cultivating allowed her to reach the late stage of Jean Dan from the early stage of Foundation establishment. She was now on par with Wang Lin's avatar. The earth trembled and the ancient god's main body returned to its human form. It charged out of the ground and returned to the cave. The avatar merged with the ancient god's main body. Wang Lin waved his hand and took out the star-destroying spear. He walked out of the room and came to Li Muan's door. "You're here?" Seeing Wang Lin come to the door, Li Muan smiled and greeted him. "What's wrong? Looking at you, it seems like something happened?" "Let's go." Wang Lin waved at Li Muan. "Let's go. I'll take you to kill someone." "Kill someone?" Li Muan brushed her hair behind her ear and smiled sweetly. "Okay. Taiju, we're going to fight. Come quickly." On the table beside Wang Lin, a communication talisman flew up, and Wang Yu's voice sounded from it. Then, a glass light curtain slowly unfolded next to the communication charm. "There's a bird over there. It's annoying. I'll come after I beat it," Wang Lin said in the direction of the communication charm, and then walked out of the little cold mountain cave. Looking up at the sky, Wang Lin's eyes turned cold when he saw the giant vermilion bird's avatar. "Noisy!" Wang Lin roared, raised the Star Destroyer spear in his hand, and stabbed at the vermilion bird's avatar in the sky. Boom! A black beam of light, carrying an aura of destruction, annihilation, and extermination, fiercely stabbed at the vermilion bird's avatar in the sky. With the body of an ancient god, the Star Destroyer spear's ultimate attack shattered the vermilion bird's avatar. This movement scared the countless demonic cultivators in the demonic cultivator sea into silence. He even dared to destroy the vermilion bird talisman decree. Who would dare to provoke such a fierce person? "Let's go." After destroying the vermilion bird's avatar, Wang Lin took Li Muan and turned back to the cave. "Huzi, I'm coming." The two came to Wang Lin's room, passed through the glass light curtain, and instantly arrived at the Heng Yu sect, appearing in front of Wang Yu and Red Butterfly. "Huh? Are they your helpers? Their aura is very strange." Red Butterfly glanced at Wang Lin and Li Muan and found that their aura was very strange. It seemed to be at the same level as her immortal bloodline, but also somewhat different. "This is my brother, Wang Lin, and my sister-in-law." Wang Yu smiled and introduced them to Red Butterfly. Hearing this introduction, Wang Lin was expressionless, but Li Muan's face turned red. "Huzi, this is your sister-in-law. Is she the Red Butterfly who was wanted together with you?" Wang Lin nodded at the two of them. For someone like Wang Lin, even if he was joking, he would still be serious. Now it was Wang Yu and Red Butterfly's turn to be embarrassed. "Taiju, this guy, Zhukezi, is too annoying. Let's go and kill him together." Wang Yu quickly changed the topic and waved his hand to release a god-slaying war chariot. "You can use this war chariot." Then, Wang Yu also released a god-slaying war chariot. "Let's overturn this world." Wang Yu held a long blade and roared toward the sky. Aolo, the thunder beast, shone with lightning as it pulled a huge war chariot into the sky. Roar! The golden hoe, shining with golden light, also pulled a chariot into the sky. On the thunder beast war chariot, Wang Yu and Red Butterfly stood on it. On the golden roar war chariot, Wang Lin held the star-destroying spear and stood side by side with Li Muan. At this moment, hot blood and passion bloomed with brilliant brilliance. The first step of the journey of youth had been taken. Chapter 427. Vermilion Bird Talisman Decree? In the country of Chu, the country of Yu, countless cultivators looked up at the vermilion bird in the sky and were eager to give it a try. "Everyone, this is a heaven-sent opportunity. As long as we can kill that Zhao cultivator, we will definitely be recognized by the vermilion bird sovereign. Our futures will be limitless." "That's right. Fellow cultivators, today is the day we can rise again. Kill our way into Zhao and kill Wang Yu. While the Chu cultivators were discussing, they suddenly heard a loud explosion from the horizon. Boom! A ray of golden light and a ray of lightning tore through the sky. Their majestic auras and vast power shook the heavens and earth. That is? At this moment, the Chu cultivators could clearly see what was inside the golden light and lightning. That bolt of lightning was a gigantic thunder beast that was dragging a thunder chariot. That ray of golden light was a ferocious golden hoe dragging a golden chariot. There were 2 men and 2 women on the 2 chariot. 4 figures with majestic auras stood there proudly. Zhao cultivator Wang Yu and Shui Yu cultivator Red Butterfly. Violent and unruly by nature. Special order, arrest all of them. In the sky, the vermilion bird projection was still letting out a series of loud cries. Noisy. On the thunder chariot, a black-robed youth with a cold expression let out a cold snort and slashed out with the long blade in his hand. A cold and silent crescent moon pierced through the sky. Under the shocked gazes of all the Chu cultivators, the crescent moon mercilessly slashed at the vermilion bird's shadow. Boom! The vermilion bird's phantom suddenly exploded, and the mighty voice of the announcement suddenly disappeared. All the cultivators in Chu who saw this suddenly became silent. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. The vermilion bird decree, an ascendant spell, was destroyed with a single slash? Is this person someone we can afford to offend? This planet of Suzaku is about to change. Aolo, roar! The 2 chariots didn't stop at all and continued to move forward. Only the Chu cultivators were left looking at each other. Are we still going to Zhao to kill Wang Yu? Ahem. Today's weather is good, just right for drinking. Fellow Taoists, are you interested in gathering at my cave residence? Haha, that's exactly what I wanted. Let's go together. Let's go together. In an instant, the cultivators who had been planning to attack the state of Zhao immediately scattered. As for the vermilion bird talisman decree, did it even exist? I didn't hear it? Which cultivator didn't kill their way up? Those who weren't smart enough would have died long ago. Under these circumstances, how could the vermilion bird talisman decree be more important than his own life? Rumble! The 2 war chariots shot through the air without evading. They went straight for the vermilion bird holy mountain, crushing everything in their path. Every time he arrived at a country, he would first kill the vermilion bird projection with a single strike. After that, no one dared to step forward and throw their lives away. Bastard! How dare you! In the vermilion bird palace, Zhukezhi's angry roar echoed throughout the vermilion bird palace. But this was meaningless. One by one, the talismans were destroyed. Starting from the country of Zhao, a very clear path appeared before Zhukezhi. You dare to rebel? How dare they rebel? Wang Yu? What gave you the confidence to rebel? Is it the forsaken immortal clan behind this? You're courting death. Zhukezhi was very angry. He waved his hand and a streak of fire shot into the sky. Nanming Shringda, vermilion bird formation. Zhukezhi's hand formed a seal and flames shot into the sky from the ground of Suzaku. Countless streaks of fire intertwined and formed a giant formation that covered the entire country of Vermilion Bird. Vermilion Bird reveal. Zhukezhi pressed the seal in his hand toward the sky. There was a loud bang and a monstrous flame appeared. Zhua, a gargantuan vermilion bird, appeared out of thin air amid the raging flames. His wings covered the sky and covered the sun. The entire country of Vermilion Bird was covered by this giant Vermilion Bird. Vermilion Bird Decree. Remnants of the forsaken immortal clan are trying to invade the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain. All cultivators of Vermilion Bird are to join the battle. Understood. 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 When the entire country of Vermilion Bird heard the decree, tens of thousands of cultivators gathered at the Vermilion Bird Army's base. In less than an hour, the entire country of Vermilion Bird was ready for battle. No matter how powerful you are, you won't be able to escape from this old man. Zhu Kezi sneered, and a crystal ball appeared in his hand. If worse comes to worst, this old man will just shatter the cultivation planet crystal. Even if all life in Vermilion Bird dies, I'll kill all of these traitors. Boom! In the distant horizon, a bolt of lightning and a bolt of golden light came whistling through the air. Roar, roar! The roars of beasts echoed across the sky as 2 war chariots arrived. Vermilion Bird formation? Wang Yu frowned as he looked at the massive Vermilion Bird in the sky above the country of Vermilion Bird and saw its wings spread wide open. Countless Vermilion Bird cultivators formed one formation after another, raised their weapons, and roared with murderous intent. Damn it! Wang Yu's target was Zhu Kezi. He didn't want to kill the innocent. At this moment, seeing all of the cultivators of Vermilion Bird being tied up by Zhu Kezi made Wang Yu very angry. The glory of Vermilion Bird cannot be blasphemed. Zhu Kezi's figure flew into the air and landed on the head of the giant Vermilion Bird. Citizens of Vermilion Bird, kill these traitors and exterminate the remnants of the forsaken immortal clan. Kill for me! Kill, kill, kill! Under Zhu Kezi's command, tens of thousands of Suzaku cultivators formed a formation and charged toward the 2 war chariots like a flood. Simply ridiculous! Red Butterfly frowned and stretched out her hand. Her colorful butterfly wings spread out and the light of extinction shone in her hand. The enemy is in front, kill everything in sight. The star-destroying spear in Wang Lin's hand gave off a black aura of destruction. Senior apprentice brother, the heavens are kind. It's not good to kill too much. Li Muwen let out a sigh and grabbed Wang Lin. Senior apprentice brother, leave it to Wan Er. Hearing Li Muwen's words, Wang Lin was startled. Li Muwen is that capable? This woman, Red Butterfly looked at Li Muwen and frowned. The light of extinction in her hand slowly disappeared. Sister-in-law, just as Wang Yu was about to use the body-securing technique to freeze these cultivators, he suddenly heard Li Muwen's words and was shocked. Ha 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 ha. Brat, don't underestimate that woman. She's not simple. The Destiny Pearl laughed loudly in Wang Yu's mind. It was the Destiny Pearl that did this according to Li Yu's instructions, so he naturally knew what Li Muwen was capable of. The power to seal the heavens, the power to stop the heavens. Li Muwen opened her hands, and a mysterious and unfathomable power erupted from her body. A rune glittering with spiritual light appeared on Li Muwen's forehead. The gorgeous rune was like a phoenix spreading its wings and ready to fly. Spirit sealing spell. A soft incantation sounded and a huge explosion sounded between heaven and earth. A mysterious power rippled out as if she controlled the power of heaven and earth. Her words were the law of heaven and earth. After this wave swept across the sky, all cultivators with cultivation lower than Li Muwen's were unable to use their spiritual power. A miserable scream sounded. The cultivators of Vermilion Bird flocked over and their bodies exploded with spiritual light. Like birds with broken wings, they screamed and fell to the ground. Although these cultivators didn't fly very high, they would be lucky to have their arms and legs broken. With this move, 90% of Vermilion Bird's army was wiped out. Only the nascent soul cultivators and above were left standing in the air with faces full of shock. The sealing extermination race's innate ability to seal all living beings was terrifying. Chapter 428. This is, with one attack from Li Muwen, the entire Suzaku cultivator army collapsed. Seeing this, whether it was Zhu Kezi, the remaining cultivators of Suzaku, or even Wang Yu and company, they were all scared. Damn it, what kind of spell is this? Zhu Kezi's face revealed a hint of panic. He was very shocked by Li Muwen's strange and terrifying power. Who exactly is this woman? Why have I never felt this kind of power from the cultivation planet crystal? Could it be because the cultivation planet crystal was sealed? Damn second-generation Suzaku. Zhukezhi's plan had failed, so he could only think of another way. My Suzaku formation has already surpassed the ascendant stage and has the power of an illusory stage cultivator. No matter how strong they are, they won't be able to block one attack from the Suzaku. Not to mention, a crystal ball appeared in Zhukezhi's hand and he revealed a grin. Not to mention, the cultivation planet crystal is my trump card. Zhukezhi stood on top of the Suzaku's head and waved his hand. He shouted at the remaining nascent soul cultivators, "Charge! Charge!" After hearing Zhukezhi's order, the remaining cultivators began to hesitate. The 4 people before them were so powerful. If they continued to work for Zhukezhi, would it be worth it? Scram! Or else I'll kill you all. Red Butterfly's cold gaze swept the area before her. Her 5-colored wings flapped and the light of extermination exploded. The power of the extermination was terrifying. Run! At this moment, how could the remaining cultivators dare to stay? So what if it was the Suzaku decree? How could it be more important than their own lives? In just a moment, all of the remaining cultivators had escaped. Zhukezhi was now all alone. Zhukezhi, hand over your life. The 2 chariots rumbled as Wang Yu's group of 4 charged toward Zhukezhi with cold gazes. Humph! Without those pieces of trash, you think I don't have any tricks up my sleeve? Zhukezhi looked at the 4 of them with a ferocious expression. He waved his hand and the giant Suzaku under his feet charged forward. Roar! The gargantuan vermilion bird projection that blotted out the sky surged toward them like a massive wave, bringing with it a boundless sea of flames. Torrential flames incinerated everything. This Suzaku formation was one of the things Zhukezhi relied on to suppress planet Suzaku. Waning Moon. Star Destroyer. Diawu. The vermilion bird formation exploded. Under this power that surpassed the ascendant stage, Wang Yu and the others naturally did not dare to be careless. A blade light as cold as the moon, cold and silent. A pitch-black spear light destroyed everything in the world. The 5-colored light of extermination intertwined, annihilating all things of the 5 elements. Even though this vermilion bird image was formed by Zhukezhi through the vermilion bird formation and had power above the ascendant stage, it still wasn't enough. The star-destroying spear and the moon-gazing saber were the divine weapons of an 8-star ancient god, 3rd step void spirit realm divine weapons. Even if they couldn't unleash their full power, the vermilion bird formation couldn't compare to them. Red Butterfly's butterfly war chariot had the power of a corporeal Yang realm expert. Even if it was inferior to the star-destroyer spear and the full moon saber, it still surpassed the might of the vermilion bird grand formation. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion rang out as a vast and boundless power erupted. The sky above Suzaku seemed to have been torn apart and the origin energy in the world was stirred up. A powerful shockwave swept across the entire country of Suzaku. At this moment the entire sky was filled with chaos. The turbulent shockwaves made the world look like a raging sea. This shockwave spread across almost the entire planet. Planet Suzaku is going to change. Ever since the Suzaku talisman was sent out to capture Wang Yu and Red Butterfly, countless people had been paying attention to this matter. The 2 chariots swept by, destroying the Suzaku talisman along the way, and pointed their swords at the Suzaku holy mountain. At this moment, everyone who was paying attention to this matter had already guessed that planet Suzaku was going to change. At this moment, after this heaven-shaking explosion and the appearance of this heaven-shaking force, everyone understood that planet Suzaku had changed. You guys think you've won? The violent shockwave had already subsided. Zhukezhi, whose hair was disheveled, was holding a shining crystal ball with a ferocious expression. This is the cultivation planet crystal. Zhu Kezi held the cultivation planet crystal in his hand. His face was filled with madness. The cultivation planet crystal controls the fate souls of all living things on planet Suzaku. As long as I destroy this cultivation planet crystal, all of you will die. All life on this planet will die. Damn it! When they saw the cultivation planet crystal in Zhu Kezi's hand, their expressions changed greatly. They already knew what the cultivation planet crystal could do, so they knew that Zhu Kezi wasn't lying. Wang Yu received this information from the Heaven's Bead. Wang Lin received the answer from Situnan in the Heaven-Defying Bead. He wants to destroy all life on planet Suzaku? Zhu Kezi's crazy actions made the four of them very angry. Once Zhu Kezi breaks the cultivation planet crystal, Wang Yu and company won't be able to escape. More importantly, their parents and relatives will be implicated. Ha 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 ha. Zhu Kezi laughed as he held the cultivation planet crystal in his hand. He looked at Wang Yu and company with a ferocious expression. You guys kill yourselves. If you don't die, then all life on planet Suzaku will go extinct. Because of your disobedience, because of your arrogance, all life on planet Suzaku will be buried with you. You are the ones who caused everyone's deaths. Zhu Kezi shouted crazily. His crazed voice spread across the entire country of Suzaku and reached the ears of everyone who was watching. Damn it! Zhu Kezi's craziness shocked everyone. If Zhu Kezi really did shatter the cultivation planet crystal, then the entire planet would be destroyed. No one would be able to escape. Ha 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 ha. Zhu Kezi laughed as he looked at the four of them. I'll count to 5. If you guys don't kill yourselves, then I'll break the cultivation planet crystal. 1. Zhu Kezi bent one finger. 2. Another finger was bent down. Chi. How funny. Wang Yu looked at Zhu Kezi and shook his head in disdain. Do you know why I let you cause trouble for so long? Because I wanted to see what other tricks you had up your sleeves. If that's all you have, then you're dead for sure. Wang Yu raised his arm, extended a finger, and gently pointed. Stop. The stop spell, stop the body, stop the mind, stop the flow of time, and stop everything in the world. Stop. At the same time, Red Butterfly also used the stop spell with her slender finger. The stop spell didn't have much of an effect on someone stronger than the user. However, even though Wang Yu and Red Butterfly weren't as strong as the Ascendant Zhu Kezi, the two stop spells still stunned Zhu Kezi for a moment. The power to seal the heavens, the ability to stop the heavens. The moment the stop spell was used, the tattoo on Li Muan's forehead lit up. Spirit Sealing Spell. The Sealing Extermination Clan's innate ability also didn't have much of an effect on someone stronger than them. At most, it would slow down the flow of their spiritual energy. A moment of sluggishness, that was enough. That was enough to make sure Zhu Kezi couldn't break the cultivation planet crystal. Star Destruction Spear. Wang Lin let out a roar as the star-destroying spear in his hand flew out. There was a flash of black light as it pierced through Zhu Kezi's head. A destructive force exploded and Zhu Kezi's head exploded. Planet Suzaku has changed. With Zhu Kezi's death, everyone who was paying attention to this scene understood that planet Suzaku had undergone a great change. Chapter 429. Is planet Suzaku already under our control? After Zhu Kezi died, and Wang Yu picked up the cultivation planet crystal, the Heaven's Bead placed all the fate souls inside the cultivation planet crystal in the Heng Yu Sect's ancestral hall. As a result, the entire planet fell into Wang Yu's control. Tai Zhu, your fate souls. Wang Yu took out Wang Lin, Li Muan, and Red Butterfly's fate souls and returned them to each of them. This allowed them to break free from the shackles of the cultivation planet crystal. After killing Zhu Kezi, they also took over the countless years of Suzaku's accumulation. When Wang Yu and company opened the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain's secret vault and saw the mountain of celestial jades, spirit stones and pills, even someone as calm as Wang Lin opened his mouth in shock. What a great harvest! Wang Yu smiled happily. With these things, our strength will increase very quickly. With a wave of his hand, Wang Lin put everything inside the vault into his Heaven Fate Pearl, and everyone entered a new round of closed-door cultivation. It was worth mentioning that one of Zhu Kezi's original disciples was an acquaintance of Wang Lin and Wang Yu. Her name was Lu Mei. After the 4 Wang brothers entered the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain, Lu Mei no longer had any thoughts of using Wang Lin as a cultivation furnace. Even Zhu Kezi was killed by Wang Yu and company. If Lu Mei dared to have any thoughts about Wang Lin with her mere soul formation cultivation, she would have to be tired of living. Thus, Wang Lin's sad story would never happen again on this fate line. It could be predicted that Wang Lin and Lu Mei would never cross paths again. Of course, since Lu Mei was pregnant with Wang Lin's child, it would never happen again. Wang Ping, the child who died before he was born, was refined into a resentful baby by his mother to deal with his father. This tragic, sad, and sorrowful story, it shouldn't have happened. This world has no sorrow. Liu cut off the connection and withdrew his gaze. With planet Suzaku in our hands, we control hundreds of millions of cultivators. Although their strength is low, they are still a force to be reckoned with. It could be predicted that with the help of the Hengyu sect's mysterious buildings, the strength of planet Suzaku would increase by leaps and bounds. According to this development, we can plot against all seer. Liu chuckled. He was very interested in the fragment of the delimitation compass and the heavenly Tao of the cave world. Apart from digesting the Tao aura, my Tao of divine Qi fusion is also useful for studying the heavenly Tao, which is an amalgamation of the laws that govern the operations of all things in the world. Liu looked up at the sky. His gaze seemed to penetrate through the earth and into the starry sky. So, all seer must be ruthlessly played with. Withdrawing his gaze, Liu sat down in the palace as he knocked the desk in front of him. Tuasin, come here. Tuasin greets the Lord. In a flash, Tuasin appeared in front of Liu. Yes. Liu glanced at Tuasin and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, you've made great progress in cultivation during this period. At that moment, Tuasin no longer had the rough skin of an ancient god. His skin color and hair color were no different from that of an ordinary person. Thanks to the Lord's generous gift, Tuasin has already cultivated to the realm of myriad transformations. With Tuasin's strength as an 8-star ancient god, he had originally walked the path of body refinement. Switching to the human celestial martial Tao made it very easy for him to transform his strength. Very good. Liu nodded and waved his hand, causing a jade talisman to land in Tuasin's hand. Take this talisman and make a trip to the all-heaven star system. With a flick of his finger, a ball of light entered Tuasin's mind and the map of the all-heaven star system entered Tuasin's soul. There is a strange beast here called the Nether Beast. After you find this strange beast, you just have to insert my talisman into its body. Yes. Tuasin bowed to accept the order and left. After leaving the celestial palace, Tuasin took out the greater teleportation talisman Liu had given him. He activated the transfer array and instantly left the eternal celestial palace. This nether beast is very interesting. Liu glanced in the direction that Tuasin left, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Apart from the nether beast's ability to devour the world and accelerate time for millions of years in an instant, what's more important is what it has swallowed. Back then, the 7-colored celestial sovereign found a fragment of the boundary compass and saw the law of the world on it. He used it as the heavenly Tao of the cave world. Later, Lien Daofei broke through the cave world's gate and killed the 7-colored celestial sovereign. Only his 3 souls and 7 fragments were left to reincarnate. Lien Daofei was also attacked by the seven-colored celestial sovereign's heavenly Dao. Helpless, Lien Daofei self-detonated his soul to escape. However, this caused Lien Daofei to become a madman. The heavenly Dao was also blown into two parts. The larger part absorbed Lien Daofei's self-detonated soul and devoured a fragment of the seven-colored celestial sovereign's soul. This was the All-Seer. As for the smaller part, it was devoured by the Nether Beast. I wonder if the Nether Beast has already devoured the madman Lien Daofei. If it has already devoured him, then that would be interesting. The smile on Li Yu's face became even wider. The Nether Beast has devoured a part of the Heavenly Dao. Aside from obtaining the Heavenly Dao, I can also ruthlessly cheat the All-Seer. All-Heaven Star System. In the All-Heaven Star System, there was a place filled with fog. This was the forbidden area of all heaven. Almost no cultivators would come to this area. This was because this area was filled with endless fog that would make it difficult for cultivators to get lost. More importantly, there were some ferocious and cruel beasts hidden in the fog. It was very dangerous to be ambushed by beasts in the fog. Boom! A ripple appeared in the void and Tuo Sen's figure appeared at the edge of the foggy area. Is this the place the Lord was talking about? It is indeed a bit strange. Looking at the endless fog, Tuo Sen's eyes lit up. He reached out and the golden dragon spear appeared in his hand. Fog, demonic beasts, I want to see them. Taking a step forward, Tuo Sen's figure instantly rushed into the mist. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, Tuo Sen sensed ferocious beasts of various shapes and sizes in the surrounding fog. The aura of an 8-star ancient god was like the might of the heavens. When these fierce beasts were swept by his divine sense, they all became silent. They didn't dare to move or even breathe loudly. Humph, only SOSO. Tuo Sen was too lazy to pay attention to these fierce beasts and continued to search with his divine sense. Along the way, his divine sense searched the surrounding 5,000 kilometers but didn't find the Nether Beast. Aside from devouring everything and the passing of time, the Nether Beast also has the Void Form spell. It can turn into the void and blend into the surrounding environment. Tuo Sen frowned and looked around. I'm afraid this Nether Beast has already void formed and is hiding in the fog. You think I can't find you if you hide? The golden dragon spear in Tuo Sen's hand trembled, and a ray of golden light flew out. Roar! A loud dragon roar echoed, and a monstrous dragon's might covered the sky. Roar! Roar! Countless fierce beasts in the fog were scared out of their wits and fled in panic. Among these fleeing fierce beasts, there was a huge whale-like beast that was hundreds of meters long. It was also fleeing in panic. This is the Nether Beast? Seeing the huge whale-like beast, Tuo Sen smiled and didn't give chase. He took out the charm that Li Yu gave him and threw it at the huge whale. A ray of light flashed and instantly fell into the Nether Beast's body and disappeared. After the charm was thrown in, Li Yu had already dug a hole. Chapter 430. Tozen has already found the Nether Beast? The moment the talisman entered the Nether Beast's body, Li Yu had already received the news. Very good. Li Yu nodded. With this talisman, I can do a lot of things. Li Yu had added a system connection to this talisman. With this talisman, there were a lot of things he could do. System: connect the talisman to scan the Nether Beast and analyze its innate abilities. Li Yu was also interested in the Nether Beast's devouring heaven and earth, time acceleration, and void form invisibility. The devouring heaven and earth ability could even devour a star field. This ability was naturally very valuable. The time acceleration ability was also terrifying. After the Nether Beast devoured something, it could instantly turn the time of the thing it devoured into millions of years. This kind of power was extremely powerful. As for the void form invisibility ability, it was ordinary. Scan complete. Analysis complete. After the system connected the talisman, it quickly completed the scan and analysis task and recorded the information of the Nether Beast's 3 abilities into the resource library. The Nether Beast devoured a part of the Heavenly Tao. This part of the Heavenly Tao fused with the Nether Beast. It's very likely that these 3 abilities became so terrifying because they devoured the Heavenly Tao. Liu looked at the Nether Beast through the system connection and revealed a happy expression. Even if it's only a part of the Heavenly Tao, it can still analyze the laws of heaven and earth. It's very valuable to me. During this time, Liu had been absorbing the endless Taoist rhymes. With Liu's yang soul and the heaven and earth qi, he might not be able to combine them even after absorbing all the Taoist rhymes. The Heavenly Tao, the laws of heaven and earth, was the key to unifying the divine soul and qi cultivation. System, scan the Heavenly Tao devoured by the Nether Beast and record it into the resource library. This thing was very valuable to Liu. Moreover, this was the key to killing all seer. After scanning the Heavenly Tao, Liu began to check what the Nether Beast had devoured. At this time, the Nether Beast still hasn't swallowed Madman Lian Daofei? Liu couldn't find Lian Daofei in the Nether Beast's body. Lian Daofei has a pure immortal bloodline and an authentic immortal indestructible body. I can't let him go. Since it hadn't devoured Lian Daofei yet, he could only wait. Although the Nether Beast has invincible divine abilities, it is excessively cowardly. Only when it is forced into a corner and terrified to the extreme will it use its devouring divine ability. Recalling the nature of the Nether Beast, Liu shook his head speechlessly. However, with this talisman, I can already control this Nether Beast. Lian Daofei was near the fog sea where the Nether Beast was. Let the Nether Beast look for it. Once it finds it, it can swallow it. After giving the Nether Beast a command through the talisman, Liu no longer paid attention to it. Now, it's time to trick all seer. Liu stretched out his hand and beckoned. A clump of gray light appeared in his hand. An aura that could control the great 1,000 worlds and set the order of the world flowed within the clump of light. This is the Heavenly Tao. After the system recorded the information of the Heavenly Tao, the real Heavenly Tao was the bait Liu used to fish. All-Seer, you created 3,000 clones and awakened 99 lives in order to make yourself a complete Heavenly Tao. Liu grabbed the light with a strange smile on his face. All-Seer, when you find something that you have been searching for countless years, but couldn't find, suddenly appears in front of you, what will you do? Your Heavenly Tao's rules are very valuable to me. So, don't blame me for tricking you. Liu waved his hand and put the light into the resource storage. System, merge this Heavenly Tao into my Destiny Pearl. This was Liu's plan. In another Destiny line, Wang Lin was the target of all seers' reincarnation. Wang Lin went through untold hardships and paid a huge price to kill all seer. But now? With this Heavenly Tao's aura, All-Seer would definitely not be able to sit still. His target would be Wang Yu. He would think of a way to obtain the Destiny Pearl and merge with it, then, he would be finished. All-Seer, the hole is already dug. We're just waiting for you to jump in. Liu smiled and sat down. He picked up the wine bottle on the table and took a sip. Now we just need to wait. All-Seer had to wait for him to fall into the hole. Lian Daofei had to wait for the Nether Beast to swallow him. Liu had to wait for him to digest all the Taoist rhymes. Time passed day by day as he waited. When rainbow-like auras shot up from the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain, 50 years had already passed. A beam of white light, imbued with the intent of eternal destruction, rose from the holy Vermilion Bird Mountain and soared into the sky. A 5-colored rainbow filled with the power to annihilate the 5 elements hung high in the sky. A black pillar of light shot up into the sky and scattered the clouds in the sky with the power to destroy the world. An illusory and faintly discernible aura spread out like vines, and a sealing power that caused the hearts of all living beings to palpitate spread out. After 50 years of cultivation, Wang Yu, Red Butterfly, Wang Lin, and Li Muwen all reached the ascendant stage. When these auras shot up into the sky, the entire planet shook. Of course, this was not important. The important thing was, these heaven-shaking auras also alarmed an existence outside of planet Suzaku. Planet Tianyun. This planet named Tianyun was where All Seer's sect was located. On the peak of a towering mountain on planet Tianyun, there was a kind old man with an extraordinary temperament standing there with his hands behind his back with a smile on his face. This aura made it seem like he was above everything else. However, in the next moment, this calm and collected figure trembled all over and jumped up in shock. This aura in All Seer's eyes, 4 heaven-shaking auras shot up into the sky. Annihilation, annihilation, extermination, and seal. Each aura was extraordinary. However, the one that caught All Seer's attention was that ray of white light. It has finally appeared. For hundreds of millions of years, this old man has searched the entire cave world but was unable to find the missing part. Now it has finally appeared. All Seer was so excited that his body trembled. That direction, planet Suzaku? That is where the door to the cave world was broken. Could it be that the part of me that I lost was lost in the void crack? Very good. You have finally appeared. 3,000 avatars, 100 awakenings, and then fuse with the missing part. Then this old man will be complete. All Seer regained his calm and aloof aura. He looked toward planet Suzaku and smiled. So this old man is going to accept another disciple. With a flick of his finger, a ray of 7-colored light flew toward planet Suzaku. This old man is All Seer. Young man, your Nirvana domain has some merit. When Wang Yu released his cold light of Nirvana and the intent of Nirvana, a sage-like figure with a benevolent face appeared in Wang Yu's soul. Young man, with your current cultivation level, you still can't comprehend the Nirvana domain. Know when to stop, or else even your soul will be corroded by the Nirvana domain and return to Nirvana. The sage-like figure nodded with a smile and gently waved his hand. Wang Yu's soul trembled and his scattered consciousness returned to his body. A gentle and kind voice echoed in his ears. Meeting is fate. Young man, if you can leave this abandoned planet, you can come to planet Tianyun. This old man will accept you as an honorary disciple. Senior Tianming, just now, someone saw that your talent was not bad and wanted to accept you as a disciple. Although this person is only a second-step cultivator. However, it is enough to be your master. It's up to you whether you want to take me as your master or not. After leaving planet Suzaku, there will be countless dangers. Finding a sect to rely on seems like a good idea. Wang Yu pondered for a bit and nodded. As a result, those who needed to enter the pit had already entered the pit. Chapter 431. The Ascendant Enlightenment has ended. On the Vermilion Bird's sacred mountain, another delightful scene occurred. Ha 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 ha. I finally came out of this damned pearl. Beauties, your master Situnan is back. An 11 or 12-year-old boy with jade-like wrists, bright eyes, and pink arms and legs stood with his hands on his hip. His face was filled with lewdness as he laughed wildly like an old man. All right, this is Situnan. Even Wang Lin, the stiff-faced man, couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Ha 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 ha. Wang Yu laughed. I say, Senior Situ, you are so young, can you find a beauty? Scram. Being poked at his sore spot, Situnan roared. Brat, I am big. Very big. I am much bigger than you. With a flick of his sleeve, Situnan's figure soared into the sky. I am leaving. I am going to find a beauty. With a whistling sound, Situnan's figure instantly disappeared without a trace. It seems, if he wasn't really that big, he didn't plan to meet Wang Yu and them. After fulfilling his promise to Situnan, Wang Lin brought Li Muwen back to cultivate. The stoic Wang Lin and the quiet and gentle Li Muan were indeed a match made in heaven. This kind of life that was as plain as water had actually become the norm for the two of them. Wang Yu, I want to go back to the Thunder Immortal Realm to take a look. With their current strength and treasures, it was enough for them to cross the star field and head to the Thunder Immortal Realm. Red Butterfly, who had long wanted to return to the Thunder Immortal Realm, naturally didn't want to wait any longer. And it is time to go take a look. Wang Yu nodded. Just as he was about to get up, he heard the voice of the heavenly mandate pearl in his mind. Brat, do you remember what I told you last time about the 5 elements sex Zhou-Yi and the female immortal corpse? That female corpse is not completely dead yet. If you save her, you will be able to find some information. She can be saved. For the two who were about to head to the Thunder Immortal Realm, if they could learn more about the destruction of the Immortal Realm, they could make more preparations. Thus, Wang Yu told this news to Red Butterfly. An immortal corpse? Red Butterfly's face flashed with surprise and she nodded. Then we must go take a look. The body of an immortal, even if dead, should not be desecrated by mortals. It would be best if she could be saved, but if she couldn't be saved, then let her die. Thus, Wang Yu and Red Butterfly left the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain in search of Zhou-Yi and the immortal corpse. The cultivation planet crystal already contained the fate souls of all living beings on planet Suzaku. Wang Yu used the cultivation planet crystal to locate Zhou-Yi. This was a barren mountain. On a huge rock at the peak of the mountain, a man dressed in green robes sat on the huge rock with a sad expression. He held a wine gourd in his hand and occasionally took a sip of wine. Beside the green-robed man was a huge coffin carved from white jade. The man gulped down a mouthful of wine and turned his head to look at the jade coffin. His face was filled with sorrow as he called out in a low voice, "Ting-Er, you've been asleep for a long time. Wake up quickly." Ting-Er, ever since I saw you in the immortal abode in the Rain's celestial realm 2,000 years ago, my heart has been infatuated with you. I know you're not dead. I will bring you back to life. Ting-Er, when the Rain's celestial realm opens again, I will steal a lot of celestial jades for you. I will revive you, I will definitely revive you. Boom. At this moment, the void trembled and Wang Yu and Red Butterfly appeared. It really is an immortal corpse. Red Butterfly saw the jade coffin beside Zhou-Yi and sensed the immortal aura within it. Although the immortal corpse inside the coffin was filled with death aura, Red Butterfly could faintly sense the immortal aura within the death aura. Are you the 5-element sex Zhou-Yi? We are. Wang Yu was just about to negotiate with Zhou-Yi when he realized that things were not as simple as he thought. Ting-Er, someone wants to take you away again. Zhou-Yi stood up with a crazed expression. These are 2 ascendant cultivators. The enemy is very powerful. But I won't let anyone take you away. Not anyone. Boom, a huge amount of spirit energy erupted from Zhou-Yi's head. I will fight to the death with whoever dares to take Ting-Er away. Damn it. Seeing this, Wang Yu and Red Butterfly's expressions changed greatly. Because Zhou-Yi was burning his primordial spirit. He was really risking his life. Wait. We are not here to take your Ting-Er away. There was no need to fight with a madman, and a madman who didn't care about his life at all. You think I will believe you? Zhou-Yi's crazed face was twisted and ferocious as rays of spiritual light surged. We can save her. We can save her. Don't you want to save her? We can help you. Wang Yu hurriedly explained. Are you telling the truth? Hearing Wang Yu's words, Zhou-Yi stopped and his crazed expression returned to normal. His deep gaze swept over Wang Yu and Red Butterfly. Zhou-Yi nodded. I hope you are not lying to me, or else. The burning primordial spirit fire subsided and the surging spirit energy calmed down. Zhou-Yi reached out his hand and touched the jade coffin. His eyes were full of affection. Ting-Er, they said they can save you. I want to try. If they dare to lie to me, I will make them pay the price. After speaking to the jade coffin, Zhou Yi turned his head and looked at Wang Yu and Red Butterfly. How do you plan to save her? Although the person in the jade coffin is filled with death energy, there is still a trace of life. We are of the same race as her. Our bloodline can activate this life force. Wang Yu looked at Zhou Yi and extended a finger. A trace of golden blood light flickered on his fingertip. This aura, feeling the aura of Wang Yu's bloodline, Zhou Yi's face was filled with surprise. Yes, this aura is very similar to Ting Er's. At this time, Zhou Yi believed Wang Yu's words about saving Ting. What should we do? Zhou Yi stroked the jade coffin and asked Wang Yu anxiously. Open the jade coffin. I just need a drop of blood. Okay. Zhou Yi waved his hand and opened the coffin, revealing the peerless figure inside. Her clothes were whiter than snow, as pure as a snow lotus. Her beauty was matchless, as gorgeous as a spring flower. And Aunt Qing Shuang. Seeing this figure, Red Butterfly's body trembled. She screamed and rushed over. Aunt? She is your aunt? Hearing this call, Wang Yu and Zhou Yi were both startled. She is Aunt Qing Shuang. Do you still remember the immortal palace in the rain world? That is Aunt Qing Shuang's courtyard. Aunt Qing Shuang she. Red Butterfly said as she looked at the figure lying in the jade coffin. 2 streams of tears rolled down from her eyes. Aunt Yu also, don't worry. Don't worry. I can save her. Wang Yu quickly pulled Red Butterfly and comforted her. He asked the Destiny Pearl in his mind, Senior Destiny, what should I do? Drip a drop of blood on Qing Shuang's forehead and leave the rest to me. Okay. Wang Yu nodded and extended a finger. A drop of golden blood dripped from his fingertip. Drip. The drop of blood landed on Qing Shuang's forehead. The Destiny Pearl shook slightly and an invisible wave swept across Qing Shuang's body. 1 drop of blood, of course it's not enough. At this time, Liu smiled and waved his hand. The water from the divine spring collected in the forbidden land of the remote antiquity was injected into Qing Shuang's body through the system. 1 brilliant light bloomed and a majestic life force sprouted. The cold and deathly still body gradually produced the sound of heartbeat and breathing. Chapter 432. That's great. That's great. Hearing the heartbeat and breathing sounds, everyone cried out in joy. Especially Zhou Yi, this infatuated man who was completely infatuated with Qing Shuang, couldn't contain his joy and started dancing with joy. The radiance in the jade coffin became brighter and brighter. Within the radiance, a beautiful figure in a snow-white robe slowly sat up. A vast aura surged up like a raging tide, and an earth-shattering pressure pressed down like Mount Tai. After sleeping for countless years, Qing Shuang opened her eyes once again. Boom! The moment she opened her eyes, the wind and clouds surged, and the sky changed color. All the heaven and earth yuan qi in the world was surging and churning crazily. The power of a 9th grade immortal monarch and the peak of the 2nd step shook the sky and earth. Ting you're awake? That's great. That's great. Seeing Qing Shuang open her eyes again, Zhou Yi was overjoyed. Her aura was vast and full of vitality, and there was no longer any trace of death aura. Qing Shuang turned her head to look at Zhou Yi and said faintly, I am Rain Immortal Monarch Qing Shuang. I am not called Ting. Not called Ting. Zhou Yi's body shook, as if he was struck by lightning. His face was filled with endless pain, and he silently lowered his head. Yes, you are not called Ting. You have never been called Ting. Qing Shuang was silent for a while, then she slowly said, But, the name Ting, I like it very much. Zhou Yi's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with joy. He looked at the radiant and beautiful woman in front of him and called out gently, Ting, yes. Qing Shuang lowered her head slightly and agreed in a soft voice. When Liu revived Qing Shuang, He merged the two personalities of Ting-er and Qing Shuang into one. Furthermore, Ting-er was the main body. Therefore, Zhou Yi wouldn't revive Qing Shuang, only to find that she didn't recognize him. "Aunt Qing Shuang." At this moment, Red Butterfly called out, ruining the mood. When Qing Shuang heard this call, she was startled and turned her head around. Although Qing Shuang had long since sensed the two's existence, her attention was completely focused on Zhou Yi. She did not pay much attention to the two. At this moment, Qing Shuang's body trembled when she heard this familiar voice. "Red Butterfly? You're still alive? Didn't you already?" When Qing Shuang saw Red Butterfly, she was shocked. She suddenly understood the reason. "You have already reincarnated?" "Yes." A wisp of sadness flashed past Red Butterfly's face, and then she asked Qing Shuang, "Aunt, what exactly happened in the immortal world? Why has the immortal realm been destroyed?" Immortal world, sorrow appeared on Qing Shuang's face. The sovereign of the sealed realm was ambushed by evil demons from the outer realm. A great war broke out between the inner realm and the outer realm. Countless immortals died in that battle, and the four great immortal realms were destroyed. Outside realm. Red Butterfly nodded. "Aunt, I want to go back to the Thunder Immortal world to take a look. Perhaps Father is still alive." Qing Shuang shook her head and sighed. "I don't know much about the situation in the Thunder world. It's good that you go take a look." Qing Shuang raised her head to look at the horizon, and a trace of nostalgia floated on her face. "I also want to go back to the Rain world to take a look. I wonder what is the Rain world like now." "Aunt, then you." Red Butterfly looked at Qing Shuang, and then at Zhou Yi, who was standing beside Qing Shuang. She smiled. "Aunt, Red Butterfly will take her leave. Senior, we will take our leave." Wang Yu cupped his hands towards Qing Shuang, and then he waved his hand to release a teleportation technique. With a flash of clear light, the two disappeared without a trace. "This brat has some ability. Red Butterfly, this child, has lived a miserable life. It can be considered that she has found a good home." Seeing Wang Yu casually release a teleportation technique, Qing Shuang's eyes lit up, and she was somewhat satisfied with Wang Yu. That youth is not an ordinary person. Zhou Yi smiled at Qing Shuang. "Ting-er, you were able to wake up because of this youth's drop of blood. Only then was you saved." "A drop of blood?" Qing Shuang's heart jumped, and she turned to look at Zhou Yi. "Is it golden blood?" "Yes." "What's wrong?" Zhou Yi was somewhat puzzled, not knowing why Qing Shuang was so shocked. "So, he is actually a true immortal from the ancient immortal domain." Qing Shuang's face was filled with shock. A true immortal actually came down to the lower realm. Immortal domain, immortal lord, true immortal. Zhou Yi's heart gave birth to a feeling of inferiority. He was just a mortal with the strength of a mere soul transformation realm. Compared to Ting-er, this immortal lord, the difference was too far. Zhou Yi. Qing Shuang noticed that Zhou Yi's expression was somewhat off, and she turned to Zhou Yi and smiled sweetly. "I want to go home to take a look. Can you go with me?" "Go home? Rain immortal realm? Of course." Zhou Yi's eyes lit up, and the gloominess in his body was swept away, and his entire body glowed with radiance. At this point, Zhou Yi and Qing Shuang's tragedy had come to an end. In another fate line, Zhou Yi had guarded for 2,000 years just to revive Qing Shuang. For Qing Shuang, Zhou Yi gave up his life. In order to protect Zhou Yi's soul, Qing Shuang gave up her own body. She did not ask to grow old in this life, but to meet in the next life. Although this story was very sad and beautiful, but Liu didn't want to leave sadness in this world. "Is Wang Yu going to the Thunder Immortal Realm?" Liu smiled and nodded. In the Thunder Immortal Realm, Red Butterfly's father, Celestial Lord Qing Shui, was sealed in the Thunder Immortal Realm by the Thunder Immortal Emperor Bai Fan after he went crazy. Qing Shui's tragedy is already irreparable. However, the reunion of father and daughter is also a kind of completion. Then let's fulfill this wish. All Heaven's star system. The void trembled slightly, and Wang Yu and Red Butterfly appeared in the void. This is the entrance to the Thunder Immortal Realm. Back then, this place was a vast sea of thunder. Now, Red Butterfly's face was filled with nostalgia, and she let out a sigh. She reached out and formed a seal. Celestial spiritual energy trembled, and a rune surrounded by thunder appeared in the void. Boom! Crack! Thunder rumbled and lightning flashed. A door condensed from thunder slowly opened. Let's go! Red Butterfly called out to Wang Yu and rushed into the thunder door. The Thunder Immortal Realm was indeed destroyed. After passing through the thunder door, what appeared before them was a shattered earth. Compared to the Rain's celestial realm, the Thunder Immortal Realm wasn't as badly damaged. It wasn't like the Rain's celestial realm, where the entire earth was shattered. Although the Thunder Immortal Realm was also shattered, it was only shattered into hundreds of large fragments. My home is over there. The thunder door behind them closed and Red Butterfly pointed at the shattered earth before them as she spoke to Wang Yu. Then, let's go home and take a look? Wang Yu smiled at Red Butterfly and released the thunder chariot. Roar! The thunder beast roared as it pulled the chariot and charged forward. The thunder war chariot rumbled as it charged forward. The sound of thunder and the flashing of lightning caused a huge commotion in this deathly silent space. Someone actually came in? It's still too early for the Thunder Immortal Realm to open. Someone actually came in? In a corner of the Thunder Immortal Realm, a figure in a red robe with blazing flames all over his body raised his head in surprise. Thunder Beast? Thunder Chariot? Those two juniors actually have the aura of Celestials? Hee, perfect. Perfect. You're all fated with this old man. A strange smile appeared on the red-robed old man's face as he waved his hand and shot out a ray of light. This is a test. If you can walk out of this old man's restriction in 7 days, then you're fated. If you can't, useless things, living is a waste of food. Boom. While the chariot was flying, there was a loud bang and flames instantly submerged the thunder chariot. Chapter 433. Damn it! What the hell is this? The sky full of raging flames swept over and surrounded the thunder chariot, leaving only an empty space of 10 feet around the chariot. There was only endless raging flames in the surrounding heaven and earth. There was no way out in all directions. Rumble! The raging flames surged, mixed with violent explosions, like thunder shaking the heaven and earth. The hot air rushed over. Even with Wang Yu and Red Butterfly's ascendant cultivation, they were still suppressed by this heat wave. When they took a breath of the hot air, it was as if their lungs were about to ignite. These flames, Wang Yu and Red Butterfly looked at each other, a trace of horror flashed in their eyes. Just a heat wave was unbearable. If these flames burned their bodies, the consequences would be unimaginable. Immortal burning fire. Red Butterfly saw these flames and suddenly exclaimed, a look of horror appeared on her face. Immortal burning fire? What is this? Wang Yu asked Red Butterfly, puzzled. Immortal burning fire is the punishment fire of the immortal world, used to punish immortals who break the law. This kind of flame burns the body and primordial spirit, undying and very vicious. Damn it, we are in big trouble. Red Butterfly tightly frowned. This is not the Thunder World's heavenly prison. Why would there be immortal burning fire? How did this thing come about? Kid, you are being attacked. Someone cast a spell and put a restriction on you. At this time, the voice of the Destiny Pearl sounded in Wang Yu's mind. You were attacked? There is someone else in the Thunder Immortal World? Is it an immortal? Wang Yu's expression changed. He reached out and pressed the plenilune blade at his waist. It is not an immortal. However, this person's strength is at the peak of the second step. When that person was casting the spell, this old man had already locked onto his position. The Destiny Pearl smiled. If not for the fact that he did not directly attack, this old man would have already let you counterattack. Since he sent the immortal burning fire to me, this old man naturally has to eat something good to nourish my body. Eat? Wang Yu was shocked. He saw the Destiny Pearl emerge from his palm, turned into a stream of light, and rushed into the raging flames. Then, an invisible suction force was generated, and the heavenly fate jewel swallowed up all the flames in the surroundings with just a twirl. When Red Butterfly saw the power of this bead, she was shocked. With a swipe of his hand, a bright rose appeared in his hand. This is my life-bound magic weapon. Is this bead of yours also a natal item? Probably. He remembered what the Heavenly Mandate Pearl had said. It had been billions of years in the lower realm, just to find the Master of Destiny. According to this reason, the Heavenly Fate Jewel was his natal item. Kid, don't talk nonsense. You're being attacked, aren't you going to fight back? When did you become so good-tempered? After the Destiny Jewel absorbed all the flames, it returned to Wang Yu's body. Its angry voice sounded in Wang Yu's mind. Of course. A cold light flashed in Wang Yu's eyes. I'm not a pushover. I'm not someone that anyone can bully. Meanwhile, the red-robed figure hiding in the corner of the Thunder Immortal Realm stood up in surprise when the Destiny Pearl absorbed the immortal burning flame. How did you break my restrictions so quickly? And even my immortal incinerating fire was taken away? Good. Good. This is really too good. The red-robed old man revealed a look of surprise. These two people's cultivation levels are low. To be able to break the restrictions, they must have treasures on them. This treasure will be of great use to this old man. The red-robed old man looked down at the celestial realm and nodded in satisfaction. They are indeed fated people. Once I take this treasure and refine it into my magic treasure, it will definitely increase the power of my magic treasure greatly. This is really too good. The red-robed old man's face was filled with excitement. This old man is Master Flamespark. I have been planning for tens of thousands of years to refine the Thunder Celestial Realm and refine it into a celestial treasure to slaughter my way into the Alliance star system. The appearance of these two fated people should allow this old man to achieve his goal. Boom! At this moment, there was a loud explosion in the sky and a gray shadow flew over. You dare to attack this old man? You really don't know life from death. I originally wanted to let you live a bit longer, but since you're looking for death, I can only send you on your way. Seeing the gray light fly over, the red-robed old man let out an angry snort. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The red-robed old man didn't care about the gray light that was flying toward him. This was because he didn't feel any powerful spiritual energy fluctuations from the gray light. Although the red-robed old man was surprised that Wang Yu and Wang Lin were able to lock onto his position and attack him, two ascendant cultivators were no different from ants. What threat could they pose? No matter how powerful a magic treasure was, one needed a corresponding amount of strength to use it. Even if a mere ascendant cultivator had a third-step magic treasure, they wouldn't be able to hurt him at all. Master Flamespark was very confident in this. With his strength at the peak of the second step, he was one of the top existences in the All-Heaven star system. Mere ascendant cultivators could be crushed to death with one finger. Confidence was a good thing, but arrogance was a path to death. Roar! The gray light charged before Master Flamespark and let out a heaven-shaking roar. A moonlight-like glow bloomed and a dragon-shaped monster hundreds of thousands of feet long appeared in the air. Damn it! What the hell is this? When Master Flamespark saw the Moongazer serpent appear and saw its overwhelming power, his face turned pale and his body trembled. Celestial burning flame. Fire. Flame. Flame. At the critical moment, Master Flamespark went all out and erupted all of his fire essence. Roar! Facing Master Flamespark's desperate attack, the Moongazer serpent let out a loud roar and also erupted all of its power. The power of a third-step cultivator was like the might of the heavens to a second-step cultivator. Without breaking through the void gate and reaching the third step, it was impossible to understand the essence of everything is void and only I exist. Second-step cultivators were still stuck in the comprehension of domain and the laws of the world. However, third-step cultivators themselves were the laws. The difference in power was like the difference between heaven and earth. As a result, Master Flamespark suffered a tragedy. Roar! The Moongazer serpent opened its mouth and swallowed both the flame and Master Flamespark. After swallowing Master Flamespark, the Moongazer serpent turned around, broke through the void, and rushed back to Wang Yu's side. Roar, roar! The Moongazer serpent let out two muffled roars as it opened its mouth and revealed Master Flamespark. You can't eat this thing. Wang Yu smiled and waved his hand. An invisible wave swept by and Master Flamespark was taken into the heaven's fate pearl. Roar, roar! The Moongazer serpent shook its head. There was a flash of moonlight and it turned back into a small beast. It happily swam around Wang Yu's arm. Could it be a Moongazer serpent? The Moongazer serpent of the ancient god clan? You're not an ancient god, how could you have such a thing? Red Butterfly looked at the Moongazer serpent and revealed a look of horror. I found a land of the ancient god in the sea of demonic cultivators and met this sleeping Moongazer serpent. I used the Heaven's Fate Pearl to capture it. I didn't expect it to recognize me as its master. Wang Yu didn't want to reveal the ancient immortal body yet, so he casually answered. After all, the ancient immortal body had too much influence, so it was best not to let Red Butterfly know. Brat, what a big harvest! This Master Flamespark is really a child of fortune. The Heaven's Fate Pearl's joyful voice echoed in Wang Yu's mind. A big harvest? Wang Yu was also interested in this. Chapter 434. This Master Flamespark is really going all out. After the Heaven's Fate Pearl told Wang Yu about Master Flamespark's plan, Wang Yu was dumbfounded. Master Flamespark was going to refine a treasure by fusing the 49 celestial realm fragments into a large seal. This kind of heaven-defying method was simply unimaginable. This fellow actually wants to open a passage to the Alliance star system and lead the All-Heaven cultivators to attack the Alliance star system? Even if he has other reasons, it will still cause a monstrous slaughter. This person's death is not worth regretting. Although Wang Yu was also a ruthless person, he wouldn't kill the innocent without any principles. Someone like Master Flamespark, who wanted to start a war between two star systems for his own selfish reasons, was simply too vicious. Therefore, Wang Yu had no qualms about taking the spoils of war. Master Flamespark's storage space contained a large amount of celestial jades, spirit stones, pills, and treasures. The amount of resources here was tens of thousands of times more than what he had obtained at the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain. While cleaning up the spoils, Wang Yu drove the Thunder Chariot toward the location Red Butterfly had pointed out. It's here. Shortly after, the two of them landed on a desolate and broken hill. This was my previous home. Looking at the desolate and broken scene around her, there was a flash of tears in Red Butterfly's eyes. I remember that there are still some things here. After walking a few laps around the desolate mountain, Red Butterfly suddenly formed a seal and pressed it against a cliff. A ray of golden light soared into the sky. The powerful aura caused the entire celestial realm fragment to tremble. Amidst the brilliant golden light, a door condensed from light and shadow slowly opened. What is this place? When Wang Yu saw the door of light, he was shocked. The celestial realm had been broken for so long, but this thing was still here? This is my family's secret vault. It is similar to a storage space. I didn't think that after so many years, no one had opened it. Red Butterfly nodded at Wang Yu. Let's go. Let's go in. After passing through the light curtain, the two of them appeared in a vast space. There were mountains of celestial jades shining brightly in this space. Apart from that, there was a dazzling array of materials. There were elegant clothes, sabers, spears, swords, halberds, armor, chariots, and all kinds of furniture. There were also the four treasures of the study: calligraphy and painting scrolls, zither, chess, flute, wine, delicacies, immortal pills, immortal fruits. There are actually so many things? Wang Yu opened his mouth wide, unable to close it for a long time. Earlier, he was shocked by Master Flamespark's harvest, but now that he saw Red Butterfly's secret vault, Wang Yu was shocked. Father was a rank 9 immortal monarch back then. Immortal Emperor by Fan's direct disciple, the successor of the Thunder Immortal Realm. Red Butterfly explained to Wang Yu. Alright. Wang Yu nodded in understanding. Qing Shui Immortal Lord was the crown prince of the Thunder Immortal Realm. It was normal for him to have such a large net worth. It's a waste to leave these things here. Take them. Red Butterfly already knew that Wang Yu's bead had a vast storage space. It was very suitable for storing these things. Yes. Wang Yu nodded and waved his hand. An invisible wave swept across and collected all the resources in the vault into his destiny jewel. With these things, it will be enough for us to use for a long time. Those celestial jades, celestial fruits, celestial wine, and celestial pills could last them for many years. Brat, your wife's dowry is really rich. The destiny jewel teased in Wang Yu's mind. Of course. How could Wang Yu be embarrassed? Instead, he was proud of himself. After leaving the secret vault, the two of them drove the Thunder Chariot toward the center of the Thunder Immortal Realm. There is a scripture pavilion there that stores countless celestial spells of the Thunder Immortal Realm. The Thunder Chariot quickly passed by. Soon, the two of them landed on a flat fragment of the Celestial Realm. On this fragment of the Celestial Realm, there was only one building left. It was a simple and unadorned 9-story tower. This is the Scripture Pavilion. The Thunder Chariot stopped before the Scripture Pavilion. Red Butterfly landed before the Scripture Pavilion and said to Wang Yu, "This is a treasure refined by Immortal Emperor Bai Fan. There are countless celestial spell manuals inside. It is said that the celestial spell to collect the Scripture Pavilion was left behind on the 9th floor. Unfortunately, our cultivation isn't high enough to enter the 9th floor." Oh! Wang Yu raised his head and looked at the Scripture Pavilion. A smile appeared on his face. The 9th floor? I will try. Red Butterfly was about to say something when she saw Wang Yu had already stepped into the Scripture Pavilion. Red Butterfly was about to chase after him when she suddenly heard the array of the Scripture Pavilion being activated. Rank 7 Upper Immortal, you can enter the 3rd floor of the Scripture Pavilion. Bye-bye. As if it had been disturbed by something, the detection array on the door suddenly rippled like water. Immediately after, the sound of detection sounded again. True Immortal has arrived. The restriction of the Scripture Pavilion is closed. Welcome, True Immortal Sire. The sound of detection sounded again. All the restrictions in the Scripture Pavilion dissipated and opened to Wang Yu. True Immortal? Could it be a true immortal from the ancient immortal realm? Red Butterfly looked at Wang Yu in shock. You are actually a true immortal from the ancient immortal realm? How would I know? Wang Yu spread his hands. Since the restriction is closed, let's go up. Oh, okay. Red Butterfly agreed and followed Wang Yu into the Scripture Pavilion. A golden light rose up and Wang Yu and Red Butterfly went directly to the 9th floor of the Scripture Pavilion. The 9th floor is like this? I have never been up here before. Stepping onto the ground of the 9th floor, Red Butterfly looked around the 9th floor as if she was very interested. The 9th floor was not big and there were not many things. Other than a painting, there were only a few tables with jade slip. Kid, the method to collect the scripture pavilion is on that painting. Hearing the guidance of the heavenly mandate pearl, Wang Yu looked at the painting. On the painting was an old tree that was half withered and half yellow. Under the tree there was a boy sitting cross-legged and forming hand seals. What surprised Wang Yu was that the hand seals of the boy in the painting were constantly changing. This hand seal is the method to collect the scripture pavilion. Wang Yu looked at the hand seals and smiled at Red Butterfly. The method to collect the scripture pavilion is on the painting. I have already memorized it. That painting, it was left behind by the immortal emperor by Fan. Seeing the painting, Red Butterfly immediately recognized its origin. Calling the wind and summoning the rain, collapsing the mountains and splitting the earth. This is the immortal emperor by Fan's immortal technique. After obtaining the method to collect the scripture pavilion, the two immediately left the scripture pavilion. Coming to the ground, Wang Yu mobilized his immortal essence and formed a series of hand seals. A golden light bloomed in his hand and a talisman appeared out of thin air. Boom! When the talisman appeared, the entire scripture pavilion shook and burst out with dazzling light. Boom! It soared into the sky. With a trembling sound, the scripture pavilion turned into a palm-sized pagoda and fell into Wang Yu's hand. The countless immortal technique books collected by the Thunder Immortal Realm were taken away by Wang Yu. Chapter 435. It is said that after Father went crazy, Immortal Emperor by Fan sealed him in the immortal world. After collecting the scripture pavilion, the two drove the thunder chariot and searched around the thunder immortal world. Something is wrong over there. When the thunder chariot flew through the sky, the two felt a mysterious and unfathomable restriction power on a desolate mountain peak. Such a powerful restriction, could this be the place where Father was sealed? Seeing this situation, the two quickly descended the chariot and landed at the foot of the mountain. In front of them was an ordinary cliff. Everything seemed to be the same as an ordinary cliff. However, because it was ordinary, it was very special. In the destroyed immortal world, something that could be completely preserved would not be ordinary. What restriction is this? My soul can sense that it is filled with killing intent and endless danger, but I can't see any trace of a restriction. Red Butterfly frowned and looked at the mountain peak in front of them. She was very afraid of this seemingly ordinary mountain peak. Kid, this is the annihilation restriction. One of the 4 ancient divine restrictions. This thing is very dangerous. If you can't solve it, this old man will do it. The voice of the heavenly mandate pearl sounded in Wang Yu's mind. Thank you, Senior. With the help of the heavenly mandate pearl, there would naturally be no problem. A stream of light rushed out of his hand and the heavenly mandate pearl whistled towards the mountain peak. An invisible wave swept across and scanned the annihilation restriction on the mountain peak. Then, the annihilation restriction was transmitted to Li Yu. One of the 4 ancient divine restrictions, the annihilation restriction? This thing is a bit interesting. Different from the time restriction, the annihilation restriction contains the power of destruction. When the restriction erupts, even space can be destroyed. Its power is very shocking. The art of restriction is still very valuable. The system analyzed the annihilation restriction. Li Yu sent the analysis result to the heavenly mandate pearl and no longer paid attention to it. In the Thunder Immortal world, the heavenly mandate pearl circled around the mountain peak and returned to Wang Yu's hand. Kid, the restriction on the mountain has been solved. According to the method that Li Yu had sent over, the Heavenly Fate Jewel used the recovery function of the resource vault to cut off the flow of spiritual energy of the Annihilation Seal. No matter how powerful the Annihilation Seal was, it would become a gun without bullet. Red Butterfly, the restriction has been broken. Let's go up and have a look. Wang Yu called out to Red Butterfly, and the two of them drove the thunder chariot up the mountain. After the restriction was lifted, the scenery of the entire mountain was unobstructed. Other than a stone statue that stood at the peak of the mountain, there was nothing else that stood out. There was also no trace of celestial monarch Qingshui's seal. Where exactly is Father's sealed place? After leaving the mountain, the two continued their search in the thunder chariot. In fact, the heavenly fate Pearl knew where immortal monarch Clearwater was sealed. Under the system's scan, immortal monarch Qingshui's 9 seals were clearly scanned. Brat, wait! When the thunder chariot passed by a piece of land, the destiny jewel reminded Wang Yu. What happened? Wang Yu quickly stopped the carriage and asked his destiny pearl. Go down. This old man sensed something strange below. It's very likely Qingshui's sealed place. When Wang Yu heard this, he quickly landed the thunder chariot on the ground. The destiny jewel sensed something strange here. It's very likely to be related to immortal monarch Qingshui's seal. Wang Yu explained to Red Butterfly and stepped out of the chariot. Could this be the sealed place? Red Butterfly's face showed some joy, and she quickly followed Wang Yu. This is Qianji Manor? Red Butterfly saw half of the stone tablet on the ground, and saw the 2 words Qianji Manor, and she was a little surprised. This is a market in the Thunder Immortal Realm. Would the seal be here? Let's take a look. Wang Yu was very confident in the Destiny Jewel. He called out to Red Butterfly, and followed the Destiny Jewel's instructions to a broken ruin. There's a restriction here? This ruin seemed to be a shop in the Immortal Realm, but there was a very powerful restriction on the ground of this shop. Seeing this restriction, Red Butterfly's expression changed. Even if this wasn't immortal monarch Qingshui's sealed place, it was probably a very important place. Let's break this restriction first. The Destiny Jewel flew out of his hand, and circled around the restriction on the ground. The ground exploded, and a pitch-black passage appeared. In this passageway there was a faint bloodthirsty aura. This place, feeling this aura, Red Butterfly's body shook, and a crazy figure covered in blood holding a sword and laughing wildly appeared in her mind. I'm afraid this is really the sealed place. Let's go. Wang Yu glanced at the passage, and he took the lead and walked into the passage. This passage was slanted downwards, and it seemed very long. The two hurried along for an hour, but they still couldn't see the end. Only the blood aura was getting denser. Feeling this aura, Red Butterfly's expression became more and more excited, and her footsteps became faster. After walking for another hour or so, the two of them saw the end of the passage. It was a secret room filled with runes. In the middle of the secret chamber, there was a 5-colored vortex that was swirling with 5-colored brilliance. In the center of the whirlpool, a red eyeball floated in the 5-colored light. Ah! Seeing this eyeball, Red Butterfly exclaimed, and her body trembled. 2 streams of tears rolled down her face. Father, this eyeball, is immortal monarch Qingshui's? Wang Yu's heart shook, and he looked up at the red eyeball. His heart palpitated slightly, as if the eyeball contained a terrifying power. You're right. That eyeball contains the power of the Supreme Realm. It's unscrupulous. If you're touched by this power, you're dead. I wouldn't be able to save you even if I wanted to. The Destiny Jewel laughed coldly in Wang Yu's mind. You? Come here. At this moment, the red eyeball in the 5-colored whirlpool suddenly shook, and a cold and arrogant voice sounded from the whirlpool. Come here, I'll bestow upon you supreme immortal spells, and I'll bestow upon you peerless power. Come here, you can have everything you've dreamed of. This voice had an inexplicable demonic nature, and it could make one's soul confused and drowsy. Be careful! The Destiny Jewel shouted, and a clear light flashed, isolating this demonic voice. This allowed Wang Yu and Red Butterfly to regain their consciousness. What's going on? Cold sweat broke out on Wang Yu's back. If he was really confused just now, who knew what would have happened? Father, Red Butterfly's tears rolled down her face. Father! He still hasn't regained his consciousness? And how dare you refuse my gift? You deserve to die. All of you die. A furious roar burst out from the five-colored vortex. Then, with a thunderous boom, a blood-red light rushed out from the red eyeball. Crack! In the face of this red light, even the void cracked. Cold. Dead silence. Extinction. Slaughter. Endless killing intent, destroying everything in the world. This was the Supreme Realm. This was the power of the Supreme Realm. Immortal monarch Qing Shui's cultivation was at the peak of the second step, and he used the power of the Supreme Realm. For Wang Yu and Red Butterfly, they would die if they touched it. Chapter 436. Brat, release the Moongazer Serpent. As soon as the red light shot out, the heavenly fate jewel's roar rang out in Wang Yu's mind. Wang Yu, who had been warned, knew that life and death were at stake. If he was killed by his father-in-law in one move, he wouldn't even have a place to cry. Roar! The Moongazer Serpent rose into the air, and its huge body slammed into the red light. Boom! The entire underground space shook violently. The violent shaking made Wang Yu and Red Butterfly almost lose their balance. Fortunately, this attack was blocked in the end. The power of the Extreme Realm was invincible. With Immortal Lord Qing Shui's Extreme Realm power, anyone below the peak of the second step would be killed in one move. However, against the Moongazer Serpent, who was one step higher, this Extreme Realm was useless. Father, I'm Red Butterfly. I'm Red Butterfly. Why do you want to kill me? Haven't you killed enough people? Mother is dead. You killed all my senior brothers and sisters. So much so that, even I have died once. How many more people do you want to kill? Red Butterfly cried out with tears streaming down her face. Even though she had guessed that her father might not be awake, Red Butterfly still had a sliver of hope. She hoped to see the heroic and high-spirited Immortal Lord Qing Shui. Not this crazy and bloodthirsty demon who killed people like flies. My father, he is an indomitable hero. He shouldn't be like this. Red Butterfly wailed in a heart-wrenching manner. Red Butterfly? The five-colored whirlpool shook violently. The cold voice suddenly trembled. Red Butterfly? Red Butterfly? Red Butterfly. I remember now. Red Butterfly. My daughter Red Butterfly. You. Go. Hurry and leave. Shouts rang out from the five-colored vortex, and the vortex began to shake violently again. Father, tears rolled down Red Butterfly's face. How can I save you? You can't save me. I'm beyond saving. I can't turn back. Red Butterfly, leave now. Red Butterfly, pretend you never had a father. Forget about me. Forget the past. Hurry up and leave. Let's go. Shouts rang out as the five-colored vortex shook even more violently. Red Butterfly, I can save your father. Wang Yu comforted Red Butterfly before taking a step forward. He looked up at the blood-red eye in the five-colored vortex and said, Senior Qing Shui, I can save you. Please restrain your power and don't resist. You? The voice in the five-colored vortex seemed to be a little surprised. Red Butterfly, immobilize. Wang Yu instructed Red Butterfly and pointed at the five-colored vortex, freeze. Freeze. To be able to save her father, even if the chances were slim, Red Butterfly would still try. Therefore, she believed Wang Yu without hesitation and used the body-fixing technique with him. The immobilization technique that the two of them used was completely useless against Immortal Monarch Qing Shui. Fortunately, this was only a part of Immortal Monarch Qing Shui, and it was still sealed. Therefore, their body immobilization technique was still effective. They managed to immobilize Immortal Monarch Qing Shui's eyeball for a moment. Withdraw. An invisible suction force rushed out from the heavenly fate pearl and sucked the eyeball into the resource vault. Wang Yu, my father, seeing Wang Yu put the eyeball into the heavenly fate pearl, Red Butterfly looked over with concern. This is only one of his 9 seals. Immortal monarch Qingshui's body and divine soul were divided into 9 parts and sealed separately. Only by gathering the body and divine soul can we truly save your father, Wang Yu explained to Red Butterfly according to the heavenly fate pearl. Then let's hurry up and find the other seals. Red Butterfly quickly pulled Wang Yu up and left the underground space to search for the other seals. Once they found a seal, they could use it as a link to find the other seals very quickly. Without needing the heavenly fate pearl to guide them, the 2 of them quickly found the other seals. Out of the 9 seals, 4 of them were still intact, but 5 of them were already damaged. Luckily, Immortal Monarch Qingshui's extreme state power only existed in that eyeball, or else the 2 of them would be in a lot of trouble. Even the 5 parts that broke the seal and went crazy were all sucked into Wang Yu's heavenly fate pearl under Red Butterfly's call and the suppression of the Moongazer serpent. When the body and divine soul in the 9 seals were all collected, the plan to save Immortal Monarch Qingshui could be realized. Immortal Monarch Qingshui is also a tragic person. Seeing the body and divine soul in the resource vault, Li Yu sighed and shook his head. Then let me help you. System, expel the impurities in Immortal Monarch Qingshui's body and divine soul. As the reincarnation of the 7-colored celestial sovereign's subsoul, Immortal Monarch Qingshui was attacked by the reincarnation of the 7-colored celestial sovereign's main soul, the 7-colored Taoist. The power of the 7-colored nail drove Qingshui insane. As long as the power of the 7-colored nail was removed, the wise and mighty Immortal Monarch Qingshui would return. In the resource vault, the power of the 7-colored nail was removed from Immortal Monarch Qingshui's body. Even his body and divine soul were completely cleansed. Even if it's just cleansing, there will be repercussions. After all, the 7-colored Taoist was the reincarnation of the main soul. With the connection between the divine souls, the 7-colored Taoist could easily attack again. So Li Yu waved his hand, and it was like a sharp blade slicing through the air. He cut off the karma and the connection between the divine souls. From now on, Immortal Monarch Qingshui had nothing to do with the 7-colored celestial sovereign. Merge. Li Yu waved his hand and sprinkled some water from the divine spring. Immortal Monarch Qingshui's body, which had been split into 9 parts, instantly merged with his soul. Not bad. It's completely recovered. Seeing Immortal Monarch Qingshui merge back into one, Li Yu smiled. I've helped you so much. I'm sure you won't mind if I take a fee, right? Li Yu flicked his finger. System, collect some extreme state power and store it in the resource vault as a specimen. Extreme state power at the pinnacle of the 2nd step was naturally very valuable. The Ice Spirit Divine Light that Li Yu researched was aimed at the extreme state. At this moment, with the true extreme state power, Li Yu could deduce many things. For example, the opposite of the extreme state, the sure state or even the Tao state would not be difficult. He had already saved the person and received the fee. At this point, Immortal Monarch Qingshui's rescue plan was completed. Thunder Immortal Realm. Wang Yu, how is it? My father, he. After collecting the 9 sealed bodies, the 2 of them sat down on the edge of a cliff. Wang Yu held the heavenly fate pearl in his hand. Rays of beautiful spirit light twirled around it. It was as if the heavenly fate pearl was trying its best to save Immortal Monarch Qingshui. Of course, this was all an illusion. When Li Yu threw Immortal Monarch Qingshui back into the heavenly fate pearl, this frightening scene finally ended. A dazzling brilliance suddenly erupted, and an imposing and aloof figure stepped out of the brilliance with a single step. Red Butterfly. I'm back. White clothes with a golden crown. Sword-like eyebrows slanted upwards. Immortal Monarch Qingshui floated out and opened his arms towards Red Butterfly with a smile. Child, your father is back. I Qingshui am back. Father, welcome home. Red Butterfly's tears rolled down, but a bright smile appeared on her face. She happily ran up and hugged Immortal Monarch Qingshui. Mother, father is back. You're right. My father is a hero. Chapter 437. Wang Yu, you're not bad. Immortal Lord Qing Shui smiled and nodded at Wang Yu. I'm at ease leaving Red Butterfly to you. Dad, what are you talking about? Red Butterfly's face turned red. She lowered her head and kept twisting her clothes. Red Butterfly, Dad still has things to do. Immortal Lord Qing Shui rubbed Red Butterfly's hair and looked at the ruined Thunder Immortal Realm. Back then, Dad was framed and lost his mind. The 4 immortal realms were destroyed. How can I not take revenge? Immortal Lord, you losing your mind and the destruction of the 4 immortal realms are related to the Sovereign and the Rainbow Taoist. Their cultivation is unfathomable and is already at the 3rd step. You must be careful. Wang Yu looked at Immortal Lord Qing Shui worriedly. He didn't want his father-in-law to rush to his death. Don't worry. Immortal Lord Qing Shui stood with his hands behind his back, and a proud smile appeared on his face. If I wasn't framed, I would have already taken that step. I'm the most promising immortal emperor in the Thunder Immortal Realm. How could I have an undeserved reputation? Looking at the sky, Immortal Lord Qing Shui's face was cold. My sword is sharp, I must kill all enemies. Wash away my shame. Dad, Aunt Qing Shuang is still here. It won't be too late to take revenge after you meet up with her. Red Butterfly was also worried, but she knew that her father had suffered for so many years. He probably couldn't wait another day for revenge. Qing Shuang is still alive? Immortal Lord Qing Shui nodded and smiled at Red Butterfly. Don't worry, your dad isn't a reckless person. I won't go against them before I become an immortal emperor. Next, the 3 gathered in the Thunder Immortal Realm for a month. Immortal Lord Qing Shui chatted with Red Butterfly and drank wine with Wang Yu. As if to make up for Red Butterfly's pain, Immortal Lord Qing Shui treated Red Butterfly like a good father who doted on his daughter. After a month, Immortal Lord Qing Shui bid farewell to Wang Yu and Red Butterfly and set off on his journey. At this moment, cold, killing intent soared into the sky. At this moment, a monstrous blood aura shook the surroundings. My sword hasn't tasted blood for a long time. It has long been unable to endure its thirst. It was as if a figure had walked out from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Carrying the flames of vengeance, he once again stepped into this world. My father, he's seeing immortal monarch Qing Shui's departing figure. Red Butterfly's eyes welled up with tears again. Our current strength is still too weak. We need to raise our cultivation as soon as possible so that we can be of help. Wang Yu comforted Red Butterfly and turned to look outside the Thunder Celestial Realm. The harvest this time is not small. Let's go back and cultivate in seclusion. Yes. Red Butterfly took a deep breath and clenched her fists. Let's go. With a flash of clear light, a door opened. The 2 of them stepped into the transfer array and instantly returned to planet Suzaku. After meeting up with Wang Lin and Li Muwen, they took out their harvest from the Thunder Immortal Realm and began a new round of secluded cultivation. Days passed. The 4 of them shared the essence of the Immortal Graveyard and Master Flamespark's fire essence. After absorbing the mountain of celestial jades and spirit stones, their strength all broke through. After passing the illusory yin and corporeal yang stages, they officially entered the 2nd step of cultivation and reached the 1st stage of the 2nd step, the Nirvana Scryer realm. Another 50 years had passed. Wang Yu's group of 4 had gained a lot, but Li Yu's side also gained a lot. In the blink of an eye, I have been in closed-door cultivation for more than 100 years. He had been in closed-door cultivation in the Eternal Celestial Palace. He had used the Flowing Ink Soul Split spell to absorb the Tao in the virtual illusion. More than 100 years had passed in the outside world, but more than 1,000 years had passed in the virtual illusion. After spending thousands of years in the illusory realm, Li Yu finally digested and absorbed all the collected Taoist rhymes and integrated them into his own system. The Tao had been digested and absorbed. His soul and qi cultivation had reached the critical moment of fusing as one. That's why I need the heavenly Tao. Li Yu raised his head and endless light swirled behind his head. The billions of avatars returned to his body, and he withdrew the flowing ink soul split spell. The hole I dug for the All-Seer has long been prepared. I'm just waiting to pull in the net. That's why it's time to make a move. Li Yu raised his hand and was about to give the Heaven's Mandate Pearl an order when he suddenly stopped. Tuo-sen, quickly come see me. Li Yu wanted to start the plan, so he naturally had to be foolproof. The All-Seer's body and the fragment of the compass naturally couldn't be left alone. Tuo-sen greets the Lord. Hearing Li Yu's summon, Tuo-sen instantly arrived before Li Yu. Tuo-sen, make a trip to the Alliance star system. Li Yu raised his hand and sent out a ball of light. He passed the map of the star system to Tuo-sen and then gave him a talisman. Go to this abandoned planet and use my talisman to search for a broken compass. Once you find it, stay there and guard it. When this compass flies up, you can keep it. Yes. Tuo-sen accepted the order and left. Everything that needs to be arranged has been arranged. All-Seer, you've waited for 50 years and endured for so long without making a move. You must have endured a lot, right? Li Yu looked up at the sky and smiled slightly. All-Seer, you've indeed endured and hid it very deeply. However, your fate has long been decided. Reaching out and knocking on the table, Li Yu gave the Heaven's Mandate Pearl an order. Heaven's Mandate Pearl, erupt with the heavenly Tao aura and then slowly retract it. After receiving Li Yu's order, the Heaven's Mandate Pearl suddenly erupted with the fused heavenly Tao aura and then slowly retracted it. This aura was very secretive and ordinary people couldn't feel it. However, All-Seer, the incarnation of the heavenly Tao, was very sensitive to it. And this is... All-Seer's face changed greatly and he suddenly stood up. Damn it! Could it be that cultivator is refining the heavenly Tao? How is this possible? How can he refine the heavenly Tao? Logically speaking, other than myself, no one else can refine the heavenly Tao. That's why I haven't been in a hurry. I'll wait for him to grow, wait for the fruit to ripen, then devour it in one fell swoop and complete my 100th reincarnation. All-Seer stood up and walked a few steps in the room, frowning as he pondered. But the situation now is very strange. Could it be that part of the heavenly Tao has taken the initiative to fuse with someone? How can a part of the heavenly Tao that doesn't have its own consciousness appear in such a situation? All-Seer's eyes shone with a cold light. Bastard! I've been waiting for you for 50 years and you still haven't come? Since that's the case, I can only force you to come to me. Ichinzi, let Planet Water Spirit issue a promotion challenge to Planet Suzaku. All-Seer waved his hand and cast a talisman, which turned into a stream of light and rushed into the sky. Planet Water Spirit issued a challenge and then revealed its relationship with the Heavenly Fate sect. You must come to resolve this misunderstanding. All-Seer sneered. I can only draw the net in advance. Hee, I'll wait for you to come to me. Although it's not ripe yet, to avoid any accidents, I must eat it in advance. However, All-Seer thought that he was scheming against others, but he didn't know that he had already fallen into someone else's trap. Chapter 438. Dang, 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 dang. On the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain, inside an ancient clock tower, a copper bell that had been covered in dust for a long time suddenly rang. What's going on? Wang Yu had never paid attention to this clock tower that seemed to have been abandoned for a long time. However, now that this clock had suddenly rung, there was a problem. Alarm! This is an alarm. The voice of the Heavenly Fate Pearl echoed in Wang Yu's mind. Brat, someone is going to declare war on planet Suzaku. Hurry up and prepare. A war has begun? Wang Yu frowned. The other planets in the Alliance? Yes. This is the rule of the Cultivation Alliance. Only by defeating 3 rank 6 cultivation planets can a cultivation country become a rank 7 cultivation country. The Heavenly Fate Pearl explained to Wang Yu. They're treating us as targets to challenge? This is really interesting. Wang Yu touched the full moon blade at his waist and sneered. Announcement. Subplanet Water Spirit, according to the rules of the Cultivation Alliance, has issued a challenge to planet Suzaku. In 3 days, we'll decide who's stronger in the foreign battleground. A ray of light descended from the sky and a figure made of water landed before the main hall of the Vermilion Bird Holy Mountain. He handed over a letter of challenge with both hands. Subplanet Tianyun? Wang Yu's heart skipped a beat as he remembered the All-Seer, who wanted to take him as a disciple. He quickly asked the figure made of water, "Wait, what is your relationship with Senior All-Seer?" Wang Yu originally wanted to become a disciple of the All-Seer to strengthen his own force. Although he now had Qing Shui Celestial Lord and Qing Shuang Celestial Lord as his backers. Who would complain about having too many backers? You know the All-Seer? Subplanet Tianyun was also under the control of the All-Seer and had become his disciple. When he heard Wang Yu's words, the figure made of water was naturally shocked. Could it be that planet Suzaku was also related to the All-Seer? Why hadn't he heard of it? Otherwise, there wouldn't be internal strife. That 50 years ago, when I reached the Ascendant stage, my soul wandered the world and I met the All-Seer. The Heavenly Fate Ancestor once told me that if I leave planet Suzaku, I can enter the Heavenly Fate sect as an honorary disciple. When Wang Yu heard that this person came from Tianyun's subplanet, he also didn't want to fight this dubious battle. After all, All-Seer wanted to take him in as a disciple out of goodwill and appreciation. Well, Wang Yu still didn't know that All-Seer was plotting against him. According to common sense, he naturally wouldn't want to start a war with the Heavenly Fate sect. Registered disciple? You are actually fortunate enough to become a disciple of Patriarch Tianyun? The silhouette shuddered and hurriedly retracted the letter of challenge in his hand. We didn't know about this relationship, so we've offended you. But the water figure hesitantly looked at Wang Yu. It's just that being a disciple of the Heavenly Fate sect is no small matter. If you don't have anything to prove your identity, I'm afraid you'll have to make a trip to planet Tianyun. That's true. Wang Yu nodded. He understood the words of the silhouette. After all, just because of one sentence, he wouldn't be able to accept a challenge from a cultivation country. I originally wanted to visit the Heavenly Fate Ancestor a long time ago, but I was in the middle of a breakthrough, so I delayed it. Just in time, I'll head to planet Tianyun to visit the Heavenly Fate Ancestor. Wang Yu nodded and said a few words to Red Butterfly and company. Then he started the Thunder Chariot and charged into the sky. Sir, Master Water Origin has been waiting here for a long time. When Wang Yu's Thunder Chariot charged into the void, a middle-aged man wearing a black robe stood in the void and bowed toward Wang Yu. I'm Wang Yu. Fellow cultivator Water Origin has been waiting for a long time. Wang Yu clasped his hands and bowed. After the two met up, they directly charged through the void toward planet Tianyun. It took them an entire day to reach planet Tianyun. A large planet floated in the void before them, surrounded by 7 smaller planets. Sir Wang Yu, that main planet is planet Tianyun. Surrounding it is the Tianyun secondary planet. As Master Water Origin explained, the two of them flew through the void and landed at the foot of a large mountain that stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers. Sir, that is the entrance to the Heavenly Fate sect. If you really are an honorary disciple of the Heavenly Fate Ancestor, then the formation at the entrance must have recorded your aura. You will be able to smoothly enter the sect. Master Water Origin pointed at the entrance and gestured to Wang Yu. Is that so? Wang Yu nodded. He hoped that Master Water Origin hadn't forgotten, or else he would lose a lot of face. Wang Yu stepped into the sect, and a 7-colored light shined on his body. The 7 colors continued to move. A moment later, the other colors faded and only a purple light shined on Wang Yu's body. Heavenly Fate Division, Purple Division, ranked 7th. The purple light shined brightly and a teleportation fluctuation appeared. Wang Yu's body disappeared in the purple light. Purple Division's 7th disciple? How is this an honorary disciple? This is clearly a core disciple. Master Water Origin was dumbfounded and secretly rejoiced. Luckily, he didn't offend Wang Yu, or else he would be in big trouble. Where is this? With a flash of purple light, Wang Yu's figure appeared in a vast hall. This is naturally my cave abode. A gentle voice sounded behind him. All-Seer had the demeanor of a celestial being as he slowly floated over. His face was gentle and his smile was kind. It was like a spring breeze. Greetings, Senior All-Seer. Seeing this figure, Wang Yu naturally knew that this was the All-Seer who wanted to take him in as a disciple. Ha 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 ha. Good. Very good. Very good. All-Seer glanced at Wang Yu and felt the dense heavenly Tao aura. Then, he noticed the immortal aura on Wang Yu's body. His eyes lit up and he nodded happily. Senior is too kind. Wang Yu thought that All-Seer was praising him and hurriedly said modestly, Not at all. Not at all. All-Seer looked as if he had seen a peerless treasure and couldn't move his eyes away. No wonder the heavenly Tao fused with you. An immortal's bloodline. This is a true immortal's bloodline. As long as I devour you, my merit will be complete. Hearing this, Wang Yu's face changed greatly and he reached out to grab the plenilune blade at his waist. Imprison! All-Seer gently waved his hand and the runes on the ground flowed. A huge force directly imprisoned Wang Yu, making him unable to move at all. Damn it! I was tricked. Wang Yu was secretly angry and his eyes were burning with hatred. Don't worry, kid, let's see what this guy wants to do first. He wants to swallow you? Humph. This old man wants to see how capable he is to dare to be impudent in front of this old man. Don't worry, with this old man protecting you, he won't be able to touch you. The Heavenly Fate Pearl sneered and said confidently to Wang Yu. Thank you, Senior All-Seer. Hearing the words of the Heavenly Fate Pearl, Wang Yu breathed a sigh of relief. For so many years, the Heavenly Fate Pearl had never disappointed him. The omnipotent Heavenly Fate Pearl would definitely be able to make him foolproof. Kid, this old man has waited for you for 50 years. You finally walked right into the trap. All-Seer looked at Wang Yu with a sinister smile. Your body, divine soul, bloodline, everything you have is mine. Heavenly Tao is from the same source, reincarnation as one. All-Seer made a series of seals with both hands and countless rays of light flew from the heaven and earth, instantly breaking through the void and returning to All-Seer's body. With the return of the 3,000 doppelgangers, All-Seer's aura became even more vast and majestic, as if his power was boundless. The aura of controlling heaven and earth, and controlling all living things became even more obvious. 3,000 doppelgangers, 100 reincarnations. In addition, this old man has found the part that I lost. So this old man's merit today is complete. This old man is the complete heavenly Tao. All-Seer laughed as his body turned into a ray of colorful light and plunged into Wang Yu's sea of consciousness. Then, he suffered a tragedy. Chapter 439. And this is not the sea of consciousness. After All-Seer plunged into Wang Yu's forehead, he appeared in a sparkling and translucent world. Everyone's sea of consciousness was different. However, there was no spiritual power or divine soul power in this world. This was clearly not Wang Yu's sea of consciousness space. Of course it's not the sea of consciousness. This is my world. An old man with white hair, wearing a high hat and a wide belt. His robe fluttered as he floated over. I, Tianming, greet fellow Taoist all-seer. Tianming slightly bowed to all-seer and cupped his hands. Tianming? Ha 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 ha. So it's you. So it's you. Good. Tianming. This name is very appropriate. You should be Tianming. All-seer looked at Tianming. Feeling the familiar heavenly Tao aura, he could not help but laugh. This old man is all-seer. You are a part of this old man. You should be called Tianming. Wrong. I am not a part of you. I am a part of the heavenly Tao. Tianming was naturally the artifact spirit of the heavenly fate pearl. After fusing with the heavenly Tao that Li Yu sent over, the artifact spirit of the heavenly fate pearl could indeed be considered a part of the heavenly Tao. I am the heavenly Tao. Of course you are a part of me. All-seer flew into a rage as he pointed at Tianming and roared. You are not the heavenly Tao, at least not now. Tianming looked at All-seer and sighed as he shook his head. Yes, I'm not now. All-seer nodded in agreement. Then he looked at Tianming coldly. But after I swallow you, I will be complete. I will be the true heavenly Tao. Before he finished speaking, All-seer pointed with his finger. Imprison. The laws of heaven and earth revolved around All-seer's fingertip. A huge force of laws instantly imprisoned Tianming. You are only a part of me. Your strength is far from enough. After imprisoning Tianming, All-seer sneered. Tianming, All-seer. After swallowing you, I will be complete. I am the heavenly Tao, I am destiny. All-seer turned into a ray of light and rushed towards Tianming. The imprisoned Son of Heaven seemed to have no power to resist and could only allow All-seer to enter his body. Endless colorful light blossomed as the laws merged and the heavenly Tao became one. Dazzling multicolored light flowed as the heavenly Tao rules spread out. All-seer's own heavenly Tao laws and Tianming's heavenly Tao laws intertwined and fused into one. Ha 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 ha. The heavenly Tao is complete. After the heavenly Tao law was completed, All-seer rushed out of Tianming's body and reappeared in the space. I am the heavenly Tao. I am fate. Everything in this world is in my hands. All-seer opened his arms and laughed crazily. Yes, you are fate. At this time, Son of Heaven's mandate sighed and said, You are indeed a complete heavenly Tao and a complete destiny. But fate has a master. Bullshit. All-seer roared. I am the heavenly Tao, I am fate. Who else can be above me? Who else can be my master? You don't have a master, but I do. Son of Heaven's mandate smiled and shook his head. The master of the heavenly Tao is the master of Heaven's mandate, the master of fate. So, Son of Heaven's mandate looked up at the sky and said with a smile, Master of Heaven's mandate, fate awaits your orders and the heavenly Tao awaits your command. Then, what is your command? My command. Kill All-seer. Wang Yu's excited voice sounded in the sky. Yes. Son of Heaven's mandate replied and then looked at All-seer with pity. All-seer, you are finished. Boom. In the crystal-clear space, a thunderclap suddenly sounded. A bolt of lightning struck down with a crackling sound. All-seer's mournful scream was mixed with a crazy howl. Impossible! This is impossible! How can the heavenly Tao have a master? How can fate have a master? Son of Heaven's mandate, as the heavenly Tao, you actually recognize someone as your master? You bastard! The master of the heavenly Tao is naturally the master of Heaven's mandate. This is fate. Son of Heaven's mandate indifferently stroked his beard and smiled. You think you have one just like this? This old man still has my main body. All-seer was struck by the lightning until he screamed miserably, but he still tried to resist. Main body? Fate already has a master. Your main body is no longer yours. Son of Heaven's mandate sighed and shook his head. Since All-seer entered the heavenly Tao, the outcome was already decided. What is the heavenly Tao? The heavenly Tao is the system. If it was not for the fact that he had to fuse with the heavenly Tao, he would have directly disintegrated All-Seer. Why would he need to be so long-winded with him? At this moment, on an abandoned planet in the Alliance star field, half a compass that was buried deep in the soil flew up. Then, Tuo Sen, who had been waiting for a long time, reached out and grabbed the half-compass in his hand. The talisman in his hand flashed, and the compass was instantly stored in the resource vault. This timing was just right. Only after All-Seer had fused with the heavenly Tao would he be able to obtain his main body. Otherwise, it would alert the enemy and Li Yu would not be able to obtain the complete heavenly Tao. Ah, my main body! At this moment, All-Seer suddenly discovered that his connection with his main body was completely cut off. It was as if he never had the main body of the compass. His main body turned into the heavenly Tao. At this point, All-Seer was played until he was crippled. By the order of the Master of Heaven's mandate, All-Seer's heavenly Tao title is stripped away. All-Seer's authority of fate is stripped away. Thus, he shall be killed. Son of Heaven's mandates in different voice sounded and an invisible force swept through All-Seer's body. This is the real deal. The system directly disintegrated All-Seer's divine soul and erased All-Seer's intelligence. The heavenly Tao is still here, but the existence called All-Seer is no more. Senior Tianming? After erasing All-Seer, Wang Yu's excited voice sounded. Senior Tianming, you are really the heavenly Tao? Yes and no. With a flash of light, Son of Heaven's mandate's figure appeared in front of Wang Yu. He smiled and explained to Wang Yu, I have already told you about my origin. I was formed from a little light at the beginning of heaven and earth. Emperor Yu used the power of creation to refine me into the heavenly Tao. Then, Emperor Yu said that since I am the heavenly Tao, I should go find the Master of Heaven's mandate and sent me into this world. After I drifted into the cave world, I inadvertently absorbed a part of the heavenly Tao. Therefore, All-Seer thought that I am a part of the heavenly Tao. Speaking until here, Son of Heaven's mandate smiled. Of course, I am now the complete heavenly Tao. His Majesty Emperor Yu is indeed able to see through the mysteries of heaven. You are indeed the Master of Heaven's mandate. The Master of Heavenly Tao, the Master of Fate, must be the Master of Heaven's mandate. Master of Heavenly Tao? Master of Fate? Then what can I do? Wang Yu was still frightened by this frightening title. In fact, with your current strength, you can't do anything. Even if I am the heavenly Tao, everything in this world is already operating according to the rules. If you want to change, you need strength. Son of Heaven's mandate smiled and shook his head. This is like a galloping horse. If you want to change its direction, you need to pull the reins. And you don't even have the strength to pull the reins. Then Wang Yu felt somewhat helpless and also somewhat disappointed. Of course, it is not without benefits. Son of Heaven's mandate smiled and said, as the Master of Heavenly Tao, the Master of Fate. Naturally, you are blessed by Heavenly Tao, there will be no calamities or tribulations. So from now on, you will never have to worry about heavenly tribulation. Alright then. No calamities or tribulations is of course a good thing. As for the future, when you have enough strength, you can do anything. Thus, Wang Yu, this good young man, was fooled like this. Chapter 440. The Heavenly Tao is the law that governs the operation of all things in the world. Very good, it's perfect for me. Li Yu used the Black Torrent Spirit Splitting technique to split his spirit into billions and spent thousands of years in the illusory realm to completely absorb all the Taoist rhymes. With this foundation and the Heavenly Tao, he already had the foundation to fuse his divine soul and qi refinement cultivation. The divine soul understands the concept, leads the vital qi, conforms with the laws, and gives birth to the origin. This is the Tao of divine soul and Qi refinement in this world. Liu stood with his hands behind his back and walked out of the eternal immortal abode. Including the time in the illusory realm, I have been in seclusion for thousands of years. Liu's figure appeared at the peak of the mountain and looked around. Wildflowers bloomed and withered, and clouds gathered in the sky. After thousands of years of enlightenment, the heavenly gate opens. But when the spiritual light heart lake rises, abhijna and dharmic powers come from here. A smile appeared on Liu's face. He waved his hand and put away the eternal immortal abode. Then, he stepped into the sky and walked toward the outer world. Endless Taoist rhymes flowed, and the heaven and earth Qi spread out, blending with the Taoist rhymes. Rays of light bloomed around him, and thousands of auspicious clouds appeared. With every step he took, the rays of light under his feet condensed and bloomed like lotus flowers. Immortal Qi lingered around him, and every step he took created lotuses. He floated like an immortal, and the rays of light made him look like a real immortal descending to the mortal world. The primordial heaven and earth Qi is the mother of all things, and it breeds all things. The five elements create and subdue each other, and the alternation of light and darkness. Wind, cloud, thunder, lightning, rain, snow, ice, and frost are all in it. As he walked, Liu's mind flowed with his own insights, and he summarized his own Tao path. Therefore, the Tao of heaven and earth is the Tao of matter. The five elements, light and darkness, wind and thunder, ice and snow, and all changes in matter and the flow of spirit Qi are in heaven and earth. The origin of matter, condense. With a thought, heaven and earth separated, and rays of light of different colors shot into the sky. Gold, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, wind, thunder, ice. Rays of light appeared behind Liu like a peacock spreading its tail. Divine soul, vital Qi, Taoist rhyme, and precept. These are the things that give birth to the origin. The various Taoist rhymes that he had comprehended in his godly soul fused into the various colors of light. Using the heavenly Tao as a reference, they condensed, merged, and turned into the material origin. But this is still not enough. Liu had achieved the yang spirit by evolving heaven and earth, but the origin of matter was only a part of heaven and earth, not the whole world. The Xian Huang Qi is only one of the essences of heaven and earth. It cannot completely merge with my yang spirit. If I want to truly become one with my divine Qi, I still need to take another step. A smile appeared on Liu's face. Black-yellow is the material Tao, while yin and yang are the nomological Tao. Yin and yang evolved, space and time flowed, and the four seasons were reincarnated. The yin and yang Qi represented the evolution of all things in the world. It was a kind of law and order of opposites and unity. Yin and yang formed the Tai Qi, and the Tai Qi determined the earth, water, fire, and wind. The word set wasn't fixed, but rather a rule. Yin and yang Qi set the order of heaven and earth. This was the Tao of order. Boundless Taoist rhyme, heavenly Tao law, material origin. With the Tao rhythm as the bridge, matter and rules fuse into one. This is the order of the world, this is the order of all things, this is yin and yang. Now that he had comprehended it, everything fell into place. At this moment, Liu had already left planet Suzaku and arrived in the void filled with stars. Boom! An earth-shattering boom erupted between the heavens and the earth. It was as if a sun had exploded in the void. The dazzling light was like a sea of light that swept across the entire star system. Rumble! The sea of light surged and swept across the entire Alliance star system. It continued to spread to all heaven, the cloud sea, the summoned river, and the entire star system within the sealed realm. Then this monstrous sea of light slammed into the sealed realm formation like a raging tide. Gotcha! The sealed realm formation that had existed for hundreds of millions of years was like a castle on a beach being swept by the sea of light. It suddenly exploded and disappeared. Boom! The sea of light swept past the sealed realm formation and swept out once more. The entire ancient star system was submerged in the sea of light. What is going on? At this moment, all the living beings in the cave world were shrouded in this monstrous sea of light. A majestic and vast power shrouded the entire cave world. An aura that was above everything in the world caused everyone's hearts to tremble. This kind of power, why would it appear in the cave world? In the cave world, the few cultivators who had reached the third step were horrified when they saw the monstrous sea of light. As for the helpless mortals and ordinary cultivators, they looked at the sky with pale faces. They felt like the sky was going to collapse as if doomsday had arrived. Nothing is the beginning of the world. Existence is the mother of all things. The so-called existence is matter, it's the mysterious yellow energy. The so-called nothing is the void, it's chaos. Then between existence and nothing is the evolution of yin and yang. In order to give birth to matter in the void, there must be a law to give birth to matter. This law was the yin and yang energy. Mysterious yellow energy, fuse with the heavens, transform into yin and yang. Li Yu's mind moved, and the sea of light that filled the entire cave world instantly boiled. The power of the divine soul, the heavenly Tao rules, the Tao runes of all living beings, and the mysterious yellow energy blended and merged with each other in the void of the entire cave world. The sea of light that filled the air revealed countless scenes. The cycle of heaven and earth, the flow of time and space, the cycle of light and darkness, the alternation of the four seasons, the wind, frost, rain, and snow, the withering of plants and trees, the birth and death of all things. It was as if all the creation of heaven and earth was here. It's actually a little bit more? With the power of the divine soul, the mysterious yellow energy, and the heavenly Tao rules blended together, and a power that represented the order of heaven and earth was about to be born. However, it seemed that he was still missing the last bit, and he was still missing the final step. What am I missing? Amidst the endless phenomena, Li Yu frowned. I don't lack the Tao runes, the heavenly Tao rules, and the origin of matter. What am I missing? What am I? Me? 3 me sounds, each louder than the last. At this moment, Li Yu was suddenly enlightened. I see. This is my Tao. This is my order, this is my origin. Of course, it must have my will. He stretched out his hand, and a light dot that looked like a Taiji diagram bloomed at his fingertips. Back in the Champion Marquis world, I once used the power of the Light Mandara and Dark Mandara to deduce a spell. This spell was called Heavenly Prison, and it later evolved into a Taiji diagram spell. It had never been put to use, and Li Yu had almost forgotten about it. It was only at this moment that he suddenly realized that his Tao of yin and yang had long been in his hands. The heavenly Tao rules of this world belong to this world, not to me. Therefore, I want to turn this heavenly Tao rule into my Tao. My Tao. Didn't it already exist? At the beginning of the chaos, yin and yang appeared, and the mysterious yellow energy of heaven and earth was born. The 5 elements were in my hand, and the 8 trigrams circulated, forming the great Tao. With a long chant, the endless sea of light that engulfed heaven and earth suddenly erupted with brilliant radiance. Heaven, earth, wind, thunder, water, volcano, swamp, 8 hexagrams appeared in the sea of light, and then they intersected with each other to form 64 hexagrams. 5 colored brilliance circulated, and the 5 elements intersected and changed. The 5 elements combined with the mysterious yellow energy, and the mysterious yellow energy intersected with the Taiji diagram. At this moment, the sea of light that enveloped the entire cavern world instantly turned into a Taiji diagram with yin and yang revolving around it. My Tao is in control of the heavens, and I control the heavenly laws. My will is the will of the heavens. In all the heavens and myriad worlds, only I reign supreme. A declaration shook heaven and earth. Divine splendor flooded the 3,000 worlds, intimidating the heavens for billions of years. Crack, under this power, the cavern world could no longer bear the weight, and the sound of the void shattering rang out. Heavenly Sovereign, do you want to destroy the world? Chapter 441. Empyrean Exalt, are you going to destroy the world? Hearing the miserable and mournful cries of the cultivators of the cave world, and seeing the cracking sounds coming from the cave world, Liu helplessly shook his head. The transformation to the heavens realm is not complete, but the cave world can no longer withstand it. Liu sighed. If this continues, the cave world will explode. It looks like the final transformation can only be done on the immortal astral continent. He stretched out his hand and pulled, instantly opening a huge crack in the void of the cave world, revealing a vast world with 9 suns hanging in the sky and illuminating the world. At this moment, my divine energy has already fused as one. However, to complete the heavens realm transformation and truly transcend the mortal world, to become an immortal, I must also fuse my cultivation with my body. Liu stepped out of the crack in the void and onto the immortal astral continent. On the immortal astral continent, 9 suns filled the sky. Every Grand Empyrean was at the peak of the 3rd step and was about to cross the heaven-trampling bridge. Their Tao shined on the world, and a sun appeared in the world. 9 suns meant 9 Grand Empyreans. However, now there was one more. Boom. Yin and Yang rotated, black and white intertwined. The giant yin-yang diagram was like a burning sun that shined on the earth. The vast and majestic power caused the world to tremble. The boundless pressure made all living beings bow their heads. 10 suns across the sky. Another person has become a Grand Empyrean. Who is that person? Why is this aura so terrifying? The black and white intertwined sun is as mysterious as the laws of the world. Who is this person? The moment this yin-yang diagram appeared, the mighty aura caused everyone on the immortal astral continent to be dumbfounded. However, Liu didn't have time to care about whether they were shocked or not. My divine soul and cultivation have already fused into one. Now there is only one last step. As long as I fuse the power of the large success innate saint body into it, then I can fuse the 3 treasures of essence, energy, and soul. Liu floated in the sky and completely fused with the yin-yang diagram. When I became a yang soul, my body fused with my divine soul once. Although the innate saint body was later completed, the realm of soul and body as one did not change. Purple gold divine radiance radiated from his body. His sea of reincarnation, Tao Palace, 4 extremities, dragon transformation, immortal foundation, all of these secret realms were activated. The sea of reincarnation was like a vast ocean. A rainbow bridge spanned across the ocean. Within the Tao Palace, the 5 chis in his chest were like 5 pillars of light that pierced through the heavens and the earth. His limbs were like the 4 poles of heaven and earth. His spine was like the dragon veins of the earth, winding like the undulating mountains. The 9 heavens of immortal foundation were like 9 immortal realms surrounded by immortal cloud. Heaven and earth originate from the beginning, and all things return to nothing. The infinite scripture is one of the foundations of my body's cultivation. The martial Tao of the human immortal, the martial will of supremacy, allowed me to shatter the void and make my physical body immortal. Liu took a deep breath, as if he had sucked in all the heaven and earth yuan qi around him. The will of I, the unique and righteous, and the power of time of the No Beginning Sutra, are also in the origin of matter and the origin of order of my yin and yang energies, as well as my xian huang energies. So, Li Yu's body shook. His full mastery innate saint body exploded, turning into a purple-gold radiance that filled the sky and merged into the Tai Chi yin-yang fish. Essence, chi, and spirit combine into one. Heavenly man transforms into life. Ascends to immortality. A soft shout came from the Tai Chi yin-yang fish. Yin and yang evolved, and Xian Huang was born. The scene of the birth and death of all things in heaven and earth kept circulating. What is immortality? What is immortality? Immortals, heaven and earth decay, but I am immortal. Immortals, the sun and moon decay, but I am immortal. The mighty voice from the Tai Chi yin-yang fish that hung high in the sky and illuminated heaven and earth reverberated through the cloud. Xian Huang gives birth to all things, and yin and yang evolve into Xuanmi Gate. Tai Chi yin and yang form the great Tao, and the 5 elements and 8 trigrams prove the heavenly man. Breaking the cage and opening the golden lock, the 3 treasures combine into one and transcending the mortal world. Heaven and earth decay, but I am immortal. I am the ruler of all worlds. In the mighty long song, the Tai Chi scene that hung high in the sky and illuminated heaven and earth suddenly burst into brilliant light. My Tao is Tai Chi. The Tai Chi yin-yang fish trembled and rapidly condensed. Li Yu's figure reappeared. His white robe, golden crown, and fluttering sleeves made him look like a celestial. Congratulations, Empyrean Extreme. You have become immortal and become immortal. When Li Yu's figure reappeared, countless cultivators on the immortal astral continent congratulated him. Grand Empyrean? I'm not a Grand Empyrean. Li Yu shook his head and stepped forward. The sky rumbled, and 9 bridges that spanned across the horizon appeared between heaven and earth. No one knew where they began or where they ended. The 9 bridges were like 9 rainbows that spanned across the sky. They gave off an ancient aura, as if they had existed since the beginning of the world. Heaven trampling 9 bridges. These 9 bridges were the manifestation of the law of the world. Crossing the 9 bridges meant trampling the heavens, trampling the world under one's feet. This is trampling the heavens? This Empyrean Extreme intends to trample the heavens? There is actually someone who wants to trample the heavens. Seeing Li Yu's aura, all the cultivators, including the 9 Empyrean exalts, were horrified. Trampling the heavens? I want to try this path of trampling the heavens. Li Yu looked at the rainbow bridge in front of him and smiled. He took a step forward and stepped onto the first rainbow bridge. Boom! With this step, the world trembled. It was as if the world was angry, roaring and roaring. Only SOSO. The pressure of the first bridge meant nothing to Li Yu. It was like he was taking a stroll and he easily crossed it. After crossing the first bridge in an instant, Li Yu didn't stop. He crossed the second bridge, the third bridge, and the fourth bridge. Standing on the fourth bridge, Li Yu looked down at the immortal astral continent. With this, the entire immortal astral continent trembled. Woo, Li Yu looked down. On the immortal astral continent, the 72 states of the immortal clan and the 36 states of the ancient clan had all turned into ferocious beasts. However, these giant beasts whimpered and trembled before Li Yu's gaze. Senior Taiji, please calm down. Senior Taiji, the gaze of trampling the heavens shakes the world. Senior, please withdraw your gaze. At this moment, a few respectful voices came from below. Gaze of trampling the heavens? Is this caused by the law of the world when trampling the heavens? I didn't release any power. Li Yu withdrew his gaze and shook his head. Trampling the heavens means trampling on the law of the world. It is normal for there to be resistance. Then let's continue trampling the heavens. With a wave of his sleeve, Li Yu continued to walk forward. 5th bridge, 6th bridge, 7th bridge, 8th bridge. This person is actually this strong? When Li Yu crossed the 8th bridge and stood before the 9th bridge, all the old monsters on the immortal astral continent could no longer sit still. This person has the strength of the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor? Since the beginning of the world, aside from the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor, no one has ever crossed the eighth bridge. How is this possible? Grand Empyrean Gu Dao, who had obtained the inheritance of the ancient ancestor and had fused with the will of the ancient ancestor, was stunned. Who is this? Why have I never seen this person before? I have seen countless reincarnation cycles. Why is there such a person in this illusory world? What is going on? The treasure spirit of the boundary compass, the ancient Tao imperial teacher, the real Tian Yunzi, was scared silly. Fellow Taoist, this old man is looking forward to playing chess with you. The heaven-trampling cultivator of this world, old man extermination, sat beside the chessboard. He smiled and pressed down a chess piece. I'm not in the mood to play chess with you. Liu curled his lips and looked at the ninth bridge. He smiled and stepped onto it. Boom! The world trembled. The void trembled. It was as if the entire world was roaring, struggling, and wailing. However, this did not stop Liu's footsteps. He crossed the ninth bridge in an instant. The world was already under his feet. Various phenomena appeared between the heavens and earth. The power of trampling the heavens shocked the world. Trampling the heavens! Trampling the heavens! Since the beginning of the world, no one has truly trampled the heavens. Today, someone has trampled the heavens. Congratulations, Taiji ancestor. Trampling the heavens and destroying the Tao will shock the world. Chapter 442. I've finally become an immortal. At that moment, Liu's life essence had been completely refined. The great emperor needs the immortality substance in order to become a mortal immortal. The Xian Huang Qi is the origin of matter, while the Yin and Yang Qi are the origin of order. The combination of matter and order is the foundation of immortality. Matter and order permeated his entire body. His existence was no longer restricted by heaven and earth. He had truly become an immortal immortal. With this power, I can take care of the sword gleams and the net when I return. No matter who set up these traps, I'll wipe them all out. Liu clenched his fists as a cold smile appeared on his face. His goal in coming to this world was to combine his divine qi and become an immortal in the mortal world. Now that he had achieved his goal, Liu didn't want to stay in this world any longer. However, there are still some loose ends to tie up. Liu looked up at the 72 states of the immortals. The immortal ancestor's head is still under the immortals' imperial city to suppress the ferocious beast spirits in the 72 states. This will be very useful for my next plan. With that thought, Liu stepped out and arrived at the immortals' imperial city. In the sky above the imperial city, the Taiji Yin Yang fish hung high in the sky like a scorching sun. Its boundless power enveloped the entire 72 state. Woo woo woo, each of the 72 states suppressed a ferocious beast. This was the immortal ancestor's handiwork. After the immortal ancestor proved his Tao with his life, the head he left under the imperial city was still used to suppress these ferocious beasts. At that moment, all the ferocious beast spirits in the 72 states trembled when Liu manifested the Taiji symbol. Greetings, Patriarch Taiji. While the ferocious beasts were shocked, all the immortal cultivators were equally shocked. They didn't know why this newly ascended Patriarch Heaven Trampler had come to the immortals' territory. The immortal ancestor suppressed the ferocious beasts from beyond the heavens in order to benefit all living beings. Unfortunately, he hasn't cleaned up the loose ends yet. The ferocious beasts will inevitably cause trouble in the future. Fine, I'll take action today and fulfill his wish, Liu said softly. The Tai Chi Yin Yang fish, suspended high in the sky, rotated slightly. The beast spirits of the 72 ferocious beasts were pulled out by this force. Ao, 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 roar, roar, roar. The souls of the enormous beasts were pulled out by the power of the Taiji diagram. They howled and struggled, but they could not break free at all. Withdraw. With a gentle wave of his hand, the 72 dire beast souls were instantly collected into the resource vault. The souls of the ferocious beasts of the 72 prefectures have been collected? That's great. Yes. We don't have to worry about the dire beasts anymore. Thank you, Senior Taiji. Thank you, Senior Taiji. Seeing that Liu had collected the souls of the 72 beasts, countless immortal cultivators in the 72 prefectures kowtowed in gratitude. Thank you? If you know that I'm here to dig up your ancestral graves, I'm afraid you won't thank me. Liu smiled and shook his head when he heard the cheers coming from all directions. The immortal ancestor's head is in a small space under the imperial city. The bloodline source of the immortal indestructible body must still be in my hand. Liu lowered his head and glanced at the ground of the imperial city. The power of seeing through all things allowed Liu to quickly find the small space where the immortal ancestor's head was hidden. Is it here? Liu stretched out his hand and grabbed. He tore open a spatial passageway that led to the underground space in front of him and grabbed the immortal ancestor's head that had turned into a mountain. Withdraw. With a flick of his sleeve, the immortal ancestor's head was immediately collected into the resource vault. This was done secretly. The cultivators below were still kowtowing and thanking him, but they did not know that the immortal ancestor's head had fallen into Liu's pocket. The ferocious beast spirits of the 72 prefectures have been collected, but I can't let go of the ancient races. These 108 beast spirits are related to my next plan, so I can't let them go. Liu's body flickered and he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was in the ancient races' territory. The Taiji diagram rotated and the ferocious beast spirits of the ancient races' 36 prefectures were also collected by Liu. The 108 beast spirits are in my hands. It's time for the next step of my plan. Liu smiled as he looked at a certain place in the ancient races' territory. Mount Gudao, this is my goal. Liu stepped forward and instantly crossed thousands of mountains and rivers. His figure landed before Mount Gudao. Greetings, Senior Taiji. When Liu landed before Mount Gudao, Grand Emperor Gudao immediately arrived before Liu and respectfully bowed. Heaven Trampling was the only peerless existence to cross the Heaven Trampling Bridge. No matter how arrogant Grand Emperor Gudao was, he did not dare to show any disrespect to Liu. Gudao, you obtained the ancient ancestors' inheritance but fell into the ancient ancestors' confusion because of the inheritance. Because of the inheritance, you can't take half a step out of Mount Gudao. Liu looked at Grand Emperor Gudao and shook his head with a sigh. You're wrong. The ancient ancestor is even more wrong. Please enlighten me, Senior. Grand Emperor Gudao knelt before Liu and kowtowed. Then he raised his head and looked at Liu with confusion and sorrow. Senior Taiji, is this world real? Junior saw in the ancient ancestor's inheritance that the ancient ancestor found that the past of the world suddenly changed one day. If this world was not a dream, then how could the past have changed? How could it change? Ha 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 ha. What a joke. Liu laughed and shook his head. What does the world being real have to do with you? Grand Emperor Gudao was dumbfounded. He didn't know what Liu meant. You're digging a dead end. The ancient ancestor and the celestial ancestor are also digging a dead end. Liu sighed and shook his head. He pointed at his heart. I think, therefore I am. As long as I believe that I'm a real existence, then I'm a real existence. But, what if this world is really just a dream? What if this world is really imaginary? What if we're all just scenes in someone else's dream? Grand Emperor Gudao still didn't understand. What is real? What is fake? Li Yu stared at Grand Emperor Gu Dao and smiled. Real and fake are never absolute. Li Yu pointed with his finger, and a spirit light bloomed at his fingertip, turning into a beautiful flower. Look, is this flower real or fake? Senior means Grand Emperor Gu Dao's eyes lit up, and his body emitted a brilliant light. It's still the same saying. I think, therefore I am. Real or fake is good. If I think I'm real, then I'm real. Even if I'm not real, I have to refine the fake into the real. Li Yu waved his hand and scattered the flower in his hand. Isn't cultivation just refining the fake into the real? Breaking the boundary between the real and the fake and transcending the shackles of heaven and earth. This is cultivation, this is heaven trampling. Breaking the boundary between the real and the fake? Grand Emperor Gu Dao suddenly stood up. The power in his body surged like a raging tide. I think, therefore I am. I am Gu Dao, Gu Dao is me. A series of cracking sounds burst out from his body. It was as if he had broken free from his shackles and broken free from his shackles. As the brilliant light flowed, Grand Emperor Gu Dao looked like he had been reborn. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. Grand Emperor Gu Dao bowed with joy and thanked him solemnly. Break this boundary and understand your heart. You will eventually have the opportunity to trample the heavens. Li Yu smiled and nodded. Since you have this opportunity, I will give you a creation. With that, Li Yu flicked his finger, and a spirit light flew out and landed between Grand Emperor Gu Dao's eyebrows. After receiving Li Yu's guidance, Grand Emperor Gu Dao naturally didn't have any doubts. He obediently allowed Li Yu to send the spirit light into his sea of consciousness. Then, Gu Dao suffered a tragedy. The so-called creation was a loyalty mark. After all, Li Yu wasn't here to enlighten the masses, who would do something that didn't benefit them in the first place. Gu Dao greets the supremacy. Thus, Grand Emperor Gu Dao fell into a fire pit. Chapter 443. System, Scan Gu Dao's Soul Memories. Gu Dao's other memories were of no value to Li Yu, but the ones he'd obtained from the elder ancestor were very useful. Gu Dao, take me to the place where the elder ancestor passed away. After scanning Gu Dao's memories, Li Yu instructed Gu Dao to lead the way to the place where the elder ancestor passed away. That was Li Yu's goal. The elder ancestor's soul had dissipated after using his life to prove his Dao, but his body was still intact. He was about to cross the 9th bridge of the 8 heaven-treading bridges and become a heaven treader. Even if only his body remained, it was still very useful. I still need to set up a shopping center in this world. It can't be left unguarded. Tuo Sen's strength is still a bit lacking, and Gu Dao's current strength isn't stable enough. After reviving the elder ancestor, I'll have him lead all of the ancients' forces. That'll be the only way to ensure that nothing goes wrong. Li Yu smiled and followed Gu Dao into Mount Gu Dao. My lord, the place where the elder ancestor passed away is beneath Mount Gu Dao. Gu Dao explained to Li Yu, then opened the door to his residence. He led Li Yu through a deep passageway and arrived at a large underground hall. It was a simple and heavy hall. There were no extravagant decorations, but the mottled simplicity exuded a profound and unfathomable aura. My lord, this is the place where the elder ancestor passed away. Gu Dao flicked a drop of blood onto the doors of the hall. Dazzling light swirled, and the doors opened with a rumble. The hall was empty. There were no decorations or furnishings. There was only a prayer mat, and a figure sitting cross-legged on it. Is this the elder ancestor? Li Yu nodded with a smile at the figure sitting cross-legged on the prayer mat. He was a tall and muscular middle-aged man. His hair was as black as ink, and his face was tough and chiseled. The elder ancestor's eyes were slightly closed, as if he were in a deep sleep. He didn't seem to be dead. His soul has dissipated, and his last will has been passed on to Gu Dao. The elder ancestor no longer exists. This kind of elder ancestor was perfect for the job. Liu smiled and gave an order to the system. System, scan the information of the ancient ancestors' bloodline. The ancient race was a warmongering existence that focused on their bodies. Naturally, it was worth it for them to leave behind their bloodline information. After recording the bloodline information, Liu's ancient ancestor resurrection plan could be implemented. It's impossible to control the ancient ancestor's body with the power of an ordinary spirit. Therefore, the 108 fierce beast souls of the immortal astral continent are very useful. This was the reason why Liu had collected the souls of 108 dire beasts. The immortal ancestor had suppressed 72 ferocious beasts, but he hadn't completely dealt with them. After he died, he could only place his head in the immortal royal city to suppress the souls of the ferocious beasts. The ancient ancestor suppressed 36 vicious beasts, but he dealt with them completely, not leaving behind any future troubles. Although each of these beasts wasn't as strong as the immortal ancestor and ancient ancestor who were at the 8-bridge treading realm, they were on the same level after fusing together. System, decompose the beast's soul and integrate it with Gu Dao's inherited memories. Use this as the foundation to reshape the ancient ancestor's soul. Following Liu's command, the souls of the 108 fierce beasts were instantly decomposed and turned into a large amount of divine soul power. Then the ancient ancestors' inherited memories entered the divine soul power. With a new identity, the memories were reconstructed and the divine soul reshaped. Memory construction complete. Divine soul reshaping complete. Very good. Liu nodded and pointed with his finger. Light flowed from his fingertip, and he gently tapped between the ancient ancestor's eyebrows. Boom! The divine soul entered and the body was reactivated. A large amount of vitality surged and a vast amount of power surged. The body that had been sleeping for countless years stood up once more. Ancient Race Legion Commander, Gu Zhen, greets your majesty. The ancient ancestor walked up to Liu and respectfully bowed. Okay, Ancient Race Legion. This was Liu's other goal. The War of the Heavens was imminent, and battle maniacs like the ancient race were the most suitable fighters. Tuo Sun, an 8-star ancient god, can't keep up. Liu looked at Tuo Sun, who was still cultivating in seclusion in the eternal immortal abode, and shook his head slightly. As his first subordinate in this world, Liu would not give up on Tuo Sun so easily. With Tuo Sun's aptitude, he was worth grooming. Gu Zhen, give me a drop of blood. Liu instructed the ancient ancestor. The ancient ancestor hurriedly took a drop of blood and presented it to Liu. Tuo Sun, your starting point is very high with the ancient ancestor's bloodline. From now on, you have to work hard for me. After receiving the ancient ancestor's bloodline, Liu directly sent the drop of blood into the eternal immortal abode and into Tuo Sun's body. The 3,000 drops of ancient Tao blood transformed into ancient gods, ancient demons, and ancient monsters. However, the ancient Tao was only one of the 3 descendants of the ancient ancestor. After fusing with the ancient ancestor's blood, Tuo Sun's ancient god body returned to its origin and became a direct descendant of the ancient ancestor. Tuo Sun, follow them from now on. Liu let Tuo Sun out of the eternal immortal abode and let him follow the ancient ancestor. The revived ancient ancestor, Grand Empyrean Gu Dao, and Tuo Sun were all loyal to him. All 3 of them were loyal subordinates, so they could go out together and reorganize the Ji Ancient, Dao Ancient, and Shi Ancient clans. With the ancient ancestor's status and strength, as well as Gu Dao's cultivation base, he would definitely be able to quickly unify the 3 divisions. As for Tuo Sun, although his current strength was a bit lacking, he could grow in the future and become a capable general of the ancient race army. The ancient race army will be formed soon. On the celestial race's side, The power of the celestial ancestors' bloodline has already fallen. Countless sect forces have risen, and it will be difficult to unify them. Even with the celestial ancestors' head in hand, they would not be able to unify the celestial race in a short period of time. This task would be left to Wang Yu. Ignoring the celestial race, Li Yu's next goal was to build the merchant city. There is a ready-made item here for building the merchant city. Li Yu walked out of Mount Gudao and looked up at the sky. The immemorial God realm. Okay, this is actually the remaining part of the boundary compass. If this thing is used to build the merchant city, it will definitely meet the requirement. When the boundary compass shattered, the heaven-defying pearl, the compass needle, and a portion of the compass fragments fell into the cave world. The heaven-defying pearl was in Wang Lin's hands. The compass needle was still in the primeval star field outside the sealed realm, and the remaining compass fragments were in Li Yu's hands. Using the fragments of the boundary compass to build the merchant city would make the merchant city itself an ultimate treasure. There was no need to worry about it being easily destroyed. It's just that this immemorial God realm is somewhat related to the artifact spirit of the boundary compass, the ancient Tao Imperial Preceptor All-Seer. Li Yu smiled as he looked in the direction of the ancient Tao nation. Artifact Spirit All-Seer, you can't sit still anymore, right? You think this world is fictional, that it was created by Lu Mo's dream Tao. You think that everything is just a dream. But my existence, my appearance, shocked you, right? Are you scared out of your wits? At this time, what will you do? I'm really looking forward to it. Chapter 444. Taiji Patriarch? Tatian? D***MNit, what the hell is going on? In the capital of the ancient Tao nation, All-Seer, who was the imperial preceptor, no longer had the attitude of having everything in the world in his hands. This isn't the scene I saw. This isn't it. All-Seer's eyes were red as he roared crazily. All of this is just a dream path technique that the devil used to resurrect that woman. Back then, before I got out of the compass, that devil had done this countless times. I've seen it countless times. Later, the devil got angry and broke the boundary compass. Only then did I get out of the compass. But all of this still hasn't changed. This is still just that devil's dream path technique. Well, in fact, All-Seer had been played by ink. Wang Lin had sent ink back to the past to find a way to resurrect Li Muan. After going through a lot of hardships and overturning the entire world, he had found a way. The way to resurrect Li Muan was the artifact spirit of the boundary compass. The fragments of the boundary compass could be turned into the heavenly Tao of the cave world. The artifact spirit itself was the origin of a world. As long as Li Muan fused with the origin of a world, she could defy the heavens and change her fate. She could transcend the shackles of heaven and earth and control her own fate. However, although Ink had found a way, he couldn't send the artifact spirit to Wang Lin. Because the past and the future couldn't meet. Once they met, the past would disappear. More importantly, only when Wang Lin had enough strength could he kill the artifact spirit and extract the origin to resurrect Li Muan. Therefore, the timing of the artifact spirit falling into Wang Lin's hands was very critical. So, Ink had set up a trap. He held the boundary compass and used the dream path technique again and again in front of the artifact spirit. When he shattered the compass and released the artifact spirit, All-Seer saw the world outside, which was exactly the same as the dream path world he saw. Therefore, All-Seer firmly believed that he was still in that devil's dream path technique. If All-Seer wanted to get out of this dream, he could only wait until Wang Lin, who was immersed in the dream path, was about to ascend to heaven and was about to end the dream path technique. Then, he could possess Wang Lin and break free from this illusory world in one fell swoop. Then, this was destined to be a tragedy. This was just Ink's way of sending the artifact spirit to Wang Lin. There is no Taiji old ancestor. There is no such person. Such a person shouldn't exist in this world. All-Seer was already hysterical. He had seen Dream Dao reincarnation countless times. Although the demon tried to make some changes each time, the final outcome was still the demon hugging the dead woman and howling at the sky, destroying the Dream Dao world in one blow. The change this time was too great. This Taiji patriarch, this person, should not exist. What happened? What exactly happened to this world? What did that devil do? Could this be the devil's trump card? All-Seer looked at the sky with a ferocious expression. No, I have to return to the boundary compass and take a look. I want to see what tricks he has up his sleeves. My plan is about to succeed. I just have to wait until the Dream Dao is about to end, and the illusory and reality are about to be replaced. Then, I'll be able to take over the demon's Dream Dao world and become a heaven treader. All-Seer's face was ferocious as he flew towards the delimitation compass, which was where the immemorial God realm was located. Immortal astral continent in the vast sea. This was the fragment of the delimitation compass, where the immemorial God realm was located. Rumble, rumble, rumble. On the vast sea, a storm created monstrous waves that turned into a giant vortex. It formed a wall of water that covered the sky and surrounded the vast sea. The rumbling sound of the water vortex stirred up the wind and clouds. The wall of water that covered the sky was extremely violent. Deep within the water, there were 9 giant pillars of light that emitted dazzling 9-colored light. Under the illumination of the radiance, the 9-colored radiance permeated the entire water curtain, making the entire wall of water curtain grotesque and variegated, like a dream. Rumble, rumble! A figure broke through the air and appeared in front of the water curtain. It's not time for the immemorial God realm to open yet, but the immemorial God realm is my origin, so of course I can go in myself. All-Seer looked into the depths of the water curtain, and his expression was very ugly. What kind of trump card did that devil leave behind? What is the origin of that Taiji patriarch? Devil, you're destined to die. No matter what trump card you left behind, it's still too early for you to awaken. This old man has plenty of time to deal with it. This old man is the final victor. All-Seer let out a hateful roar and charged into the water curtain. After passing through the water curtain and the 9 pillars of light, there was a giant stone door before him. All-Seer reached out and touched the stone door. His body flickered as he charged through the stone door and entered the immemorial God realm. The immemorial God realm was a giant space. The sky was vast and the earth was boundless. There was no sun, moon, or stars, but there was a red light that lit up the entire world. The earth was covered in crisscrossing ravines and mountain ranges that stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers. All-Seer was already very familiar with this scene. These so-called ravines and mountain ranges were just runes carved into the delimitation compass. All-Seer ignored the surrounding scenery and rushed to the center of this place. There was a giant mountain that pierced into the clouds. 7 colored snowflakes danced on top of the mountain. It was a beautiful scene. Of course, All-Seer knew that this was not a mountain but a protrusion on the compass where the needle was placed. Ah, you are. All-Seer landed in front of the mountain and suddenly saw a golden-crowned, white-robed youth standing with his hands behind his back amidst the 7 colored snowflakes. He was looking at him with a smile. You're finally here. The white-robed youth smiled at All-Seer and greeted him as if he was a long-awaited friend. You All-Seer looked at the white-robed youth in shock. You are the Taiji patriarch? How did you get in? The artifact spirit of the delimitation compass, the origin of a realm. I'm very interested in you. Liu ignored All-Seer's question. Instead, he stared at All-Seer with interest as if he was looking at a piece of fat meat and thinking about how to eat it. Since you know that I'm the artifact spirit of the delimitation compass, you still dare to appear in my main body? If I self-destruct my main body, even if you're heaven trampling, You're wrong. I'm not heaven trampling. I've only trampled on the heavens. Liu smiled and shook his head. Besides, you're not complete. Even if you self-destruct, you can't hurt me. Of course, this was all secondary. More importantly, it's no longer your main body. Liu extended a finger and pointed at the mountain under his feet. System, use the compass as the material to build the system store. A 5-colored light bloomed and the ground shook. All-Seer could no longer sense his connection with the compass. How is this possible? All-Seer screamed in disbelief. What shocked him even more was that the compass, which had turned into the ground, was constantly condensing, transforming, and reforming in the 5-colored light. When the 5-colored light faded, a 9-story octagonal bronze pagoda appeared. All-Seer had lost his compass. Chapter 445. So, with a wave of his hand, the bronze pagoda instantly shrank and flew into Liu's hand. Liu smiled at All-Seer. So, everything is over. No. All-Seer screamed crazily. Vast power erupted from his body, and he planned to fight Liu to the death. Freeze. Liu shouted softly and used the immobilization art. With Liu's power as immortal, the immobilization art had reached the limit of what this immortal technique could imagine. Time and space rotated and everything in the world froze. The so-called immobilization art is actually just stillness. Time stops, space freezes, and everything in the world returns to stillness, Liu explained with a smile. He reached out and waved gently at All-Seer, who was frozen in front of him. All-Seer instantly fell into the resource vault. His life and death were in Liu's hands. Fellow Taoist Taiji, please show mercy. At that moment, Old Man Extermination, who was playing chess in a corner, stopped. He looked up in Liu's direction and spoke with a smile. If I show mercy just because you asked me to, wouldn't I lose face? Liu smiled and took a step forward. He instantly left the immemorial godly realm and arrived in front of Old Man Extermination. That makes sense. Old Man Extermination looked up and smiled at Liu. Why don't we play a game of chess? You can't play my game. Liu smiled. He extended his hand and tapped the chessboard in front of Old Man Extermination. Black and white light flashed. Yin and yang evolved, time and space rotated, life and death changed, light and darkness alternated, the 5 elements rotated, the 8 trigrams were born, all living things were born and died, and all living things were reincarnated. Hiss, when Old Man Extermination saw that, he trembled and sucked in a breath of cold air. You? Didn't you just reach heaven ascension? How? How is this the 5th step? Boundless realm? Boundless realm? Heaven and earth originate from the beginning, and all living things return to nothing. If that's the case, then I can indeed be considered a boundless stage being. However, I don't know if this is the 5th step. Liu smiled and withdrew his finger from the chessboard. Nothingness is the beginning of heaven and earth. Yes, it was called the mother of all creation. I haven't reached nihility yet, but I'm already somewhere between nihility. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. When he saw the scene on the chessboard and heard Liu's words, Old Man Extermination no longer had the demeanor of an expert. He quickly got up and bowed to Liu. It's not exactly guidance. You have your Tao, and I have mine. My words mean nothing to you. Liu smiled and waved his hand. In the end, I managed to see the scene of the 5th step. Let me know that the 5th step does exist in this world. Old Man Extermination laughed in delight. Tao seekers, as long as you know that there's a path ahead, that's enough. Makes sense. Liu nodded and cast a glance at Old Man Extermination. He smiled and said, Don't worry. I'll return that bald crane to you. Thank you, Senior. Old Man Extermination was thinking about how he should say something to make Liu release the bald crane, but he did not expect that Li Yu would take the initiative to mention it. Old Man Extermination let out a sigh of relief. He had been in this world for countless years, and Su Ming had asked him to bring back the bald crane that had yet to wake up. The bald crane's soul is still, and there are other souls pestering it. Without a suitable chance, you don't know how long you'll have to wait for it to wake up. Oh well, I'll help you. Li Yu gave an order to the system in his mind. System, strip the bald crane's soul. The 5-colored light shone, and All-Seer, who had been put away in the resource storage, instantly crumbled and turned into a huge head. It was an unfamiliar middle-aged man. There was a 5-star runic symbol shining at the center of his brows. Within the 5-star runic symbol was the shadow of a black crane with scattered feathers. It was struggling non-stop. The 5-colored light swept past, and the unfamiliar man's head crumbled. The 5-star runic symbol disappeared. A huge black crane shot out of the runic symbol. You're the one. Li Yu smiled and waved his hand. The huge black crane appeared in the field. Screech! The black crane let out a long cry and spread its wings to soar into the sky. Hey! Bald crane! Stop fooling around, we're going back! When Old Man Extermination saw the black crane Li Yu released, he was instantly delighted. He quickly shouted at the black crane soaring in the sky. Go home. My home. Dao Qin. Su Ming, the black crane mumbled softly. With a flap of its wings, it landed beside Old Man Extermination. Senior, we'll be taking our leave. Old Man Extermination bowed to Li Yu, then stepped into the air with the bald crane and left into the distance. All right. I've sent that guy away. Li Yu turned around and took a step back to Mount Gu Dao on the immortal astral continent. Let's place the merchant city's outpost here. With a wave of his hand, Li Yu sent the bronze tower formed by the fragment of the delimitation compass to the peak of Mount Gu Dao. Boom! The bronze tower landed on Mount Gu Dao and took root. It stood tall at the peak of Mount Gu Dao. Set the ancient ancestor as the controller of the merchant city's outpost. Set the ancients as the protectors of the merchant city's outpost. The first level will activate the function of the ancestral hall. The second level will activate the pill hall. The third level will activate the herb field. The fourth level will activate the artifact refining pavilion. The fifth level will activate the training field. The sixth level will activate the cultivation chamber. The seventh level will activate the Tao Enlightenment Hall. The eighth level will activate the scripture library. The ninth level will activate the planar teleportation formation. Li Yu had already considered the functions of the merchant city's outpost, so he finished setting it up very quickly. The first to 8th levels were to increase the ancients' combat power. The planar teleportation formation on the 9th level was a necessary facility for every merchant city's outpost. With this arrangement, the ancients' army would be able to play a huge role in the upcoming War of the Heavens. I have already condensed the Order Origin Source. It's a good opportunity to test the power of the Order Origin Source here. Li Yu raised his hand and pointed at the bronze pagoda. Order constructs the law. Origin source law. Eternal solidity. The yin and yang energies circulated and swept across the tower. Li Yu's origin source law was imprinted on the bronze tower. From now on, as long as the attack power did not exceed Li Yu's cultivation level, the tower would never be damaged. This way, the merchant city's outpost would have another layer of protection. Gu Zhen pays his respects to the supremacy. After Li Yu finished setting up the merchant city's outpost, the ancient ancestor hurriedly came over to greet Li Yu. How's the integration of the 3 ancient tribes? Li Yu turned to look at the ancient ancestor and asked casually. Reporting to the supremacy, Gu Zhen has already appeared in the 3 ancient tribes. He has summoned the leaders of the 3 tribes, the great heavenly venerables, and unified the ancient tribe's forces. The entire ancient tribe will follow the supremacy's orders. The ancient ancestor replied. Very good. Liu nodded and pointed at the giant bronze tower at the top of Mount Gudao. This is the treasure I gave to the ancient tribe. Go familiarize yourself with its functions. Remember, this tower is the holy tower of the ancient tribe. You can't damage it. Yes. The ancient ancestor accepted the order without hesitation. You may leave. Liu waved his hand and sent the ancient ancestor away. Now, there is only one last problem left. Liu looked up at the sky and smiled. The cave world still needs to be cleaned up. Liu stepped forward and arrived at the immortal astral continent's Dong Lin sect. He arrived at the seven-colored celestial sovereign's cave. This was where the cave world was located. Cave world, cages and whatnot are so annoying. Thinking about the situation in the origin world, Liu had no good impression of the cave world. Then, open this cage. Chapter 446. The reason a cage is because it lacks a door to freely enter and exit. Liu scanned the ruined Donglin sect with his divine sense and instantly found the cave of the seven-colored celestial sovereign. Matter builds the door, order builds the law. Black and yellow energy gushed out from his fingertips and swept across the dilapidated cave dwelling. Then, a huge stone gate that was over 1,000 feet tall emerged from the ground. The mysterious yellow energy disappeared, and the black and white yin and yang energy brushed past. The void trembled, and the door connecting the cave world and the immortal astral continent was completed. Law, sturdy. The yin and yang energy moved around the stone door. Liu's law of order was imprinted on the stone door. This stone door had become very sturdy. Although it was far from the eternal sturdiness of the bronze tower, it was impossible for anyone below the Grand Empyrean level to break this stone door. This kind of spell consumes a lot of energy. Redefining the law of something consumed a lot of order essence. This thing could not be used as a regular method. It was fine if it couldn't be used as a regular method. After all, Liu had a lot of combat skills, so he didn't need to use his source to fight. At this moment, the cave world was already in chaos. Ever since Liu left planet Suzaku and flattened the realm's ceiling formation and the yin and yang fish shrouded the cave world was already in chaos. The Empyrean descended into the cave world. After displaying a heaven-reaching scene, he tore open the void and left. The entire cave world was scared silly. Everyone in the cave world had clearly heard the cracking sounds from the yin and yang diagram. If the Empyrean Exalt had been just a bit more powerful, the entire cave world would have been gone. After seeing such an existence and such power, who wouldn't feel guilty? Who wouldn't be terrified? They were lucky this time that the cave world wasn't destroyed. What about next time? Who could guarantee that there wouldn't be another one? Who could guarantee that the cave world would be safe next time? We have to get out. We have to get out. Whether it was the sovereign of the immemorial starry sky or the big shots of the 4 major star fields in the sealed realm, none of them could sit still. This time, the Empyrean Exalt was easy to talk to. When he saw that the cave world was about to be destroyed, he immediately left. What if the next person who didn't care about this world came? I found the third soul. Rebuild the entrance of the cave. All the supreme beings inside and outside the sealed realm had reached a consensus. Whether it was past conflicts or conflicts, no one cared about them in the face of the apocalypse. The realm's sealing array had disappeared, and the inner and outer realms were unobstructed. As a result, the third step cultivators of the outer realm all entered the sealed realm. The various factions and races of the outer realm all entered the sealed realm. The conflict between the inner and outer realms had been going on for a long time. The cultivators were used to killing and robbing. Moreover, the various big shots were not in the mood to care about the order of the cave world. They were wholeheartedly searching for the third soul and wanting to leave the cave world as soon as possible. Thus, without the restraint of the various big shots, The cavern world was filled with smoke and chaos. Waning moon. Wang Yu slashed out with his blade and killed an outer realm cultivator who had entered planet Suzaku. He frowned and complained to his fate pearl. Senior Tianming, what's going on? Who was that person? How did this happen? Cough cough. The Destiny Pearl coughed awkwardly, not knowing what to say. This matter was caused by Li Yu. However, the Destiny Pearl didn't dare to say it. Boom. At this moment, the void trembled violently. A group of figures with heaven-shaking power broke through the void and appeared outside planet Suzaku. I remember that the broken gate was scattered around here. The sovereign looked up and his powerful divine sense swept across the world. The entire planet was shrouded by the sovereign's divine sense. The sovereign's divine sense swept across planet Suzaku. He didn't find the broken gate, but he found something else that was very important. That is the heaven-defying bead? When the sovereign's divine sense swept across the vermilion bird divine mountain, he found the heaven-defying bead on Wang Lin. Because Wang Lin hadn't completely refined the heaven-defying bead, it wasn't hidden in his soul. When the sovereign's divine sense swept by, he immediately found some clues. The previous owner of the heaven-defying bead was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. The sovereign was an old opponent of the Lord of the Sealed Realm, so he was naturally familiar with it. Heaven-defying bead. This supreme treasure actually appeared here? He didn't find the broken gate but found the heaven-defying bead. This was a completely unexpected gain. Since he had encountered it, he naturally had no intention of letting it go. If I don't take what the heavens give me, I will be punished. Since this treasure is fated with this old man, then I can't let it go. The sovereign faintly smiled and reached into the void. It was like fishing the moon in a well. This was the sovereign's spell. Fishing the moon in the well, turn false into true. Wang, a powerful force swept across the heavens and earth, and Wang Lin disappeared from planet Suzaku without anyone noticing. What appeared before Wang Lin was still planet Suzaku. However, this was planet Suzaku where he was the only one. In the space Wang Lin was in, he was the only living being on planet Suzaku. The entire world was dead silent. This was fishing the moon in the water. The sovereign's spell pulled Wang Lin into a space created by the sovereign's spell. This space completely replicated the appearance of planet Suzaku. It was like the moon in the well shining the moon in the sky into the well. It was like a mirrored space, but there was only Wang Lin in this space. Lucky brat, you actually obtained a treasure like the heaven-defying bead. Unfortunately, you won't be able to enjoy such a treasure. The sovereign smiled. Since this old man has encountered it, then this treasure is fated with this old man. This old man will kindly accept it. It is fated with you? Then you can try it. Wang Lin's expression was cold as he tightly held the star-destroying spear. A mere ancient god weapon dares to go against this old man? The sovereign sneered in disdain and reached out to grab Wang Lin. Boom! A huge palm came down from the sky and grabbed at Wang Lin fiercely. Star-destroying spear. Wang Lin let out a roar and his ancient god body revealed its true form. A 100-foot-tall giant holding a spear mercilessly stabbed at the giant palm descending from the sky. Boom! A loud bang caused the virtual space to tremble violently, creating ripples like water. The giant palm suddenly exploded. However, Wang Lin was also blasted back hundreds of kilometers. He coughed out blood and his bones made cracking sound. Ancient god body? This is a bit surprising. The sovereign smiled and shook his head. I don't have time to play with you. Brat, accept your fate. He raised his hand and slapped down like he was swatting a mosquito. The sovereign used the palm as the sovereign. The sovereign had used half of his strength in this slap. The sovereign was at the third step, so half of his strength was already too much to deal with Wang Lin, who was at the peak of the first step. No matter how strong Wang Lin was, he would definitely die a thorough death after being hit by this palm. Chapter 447. Tai Zhu. How did Tai Zhu disappear? The moment Wang Lin disappeared, Wang Yu, Red Butterfly, and Li Muwen were all shocked. Brat, this is the sovereign's fishing the moon in the well spell. He sucked that brat Wang Lin into the illusory space. The heaven's fate bead explained to Wang Yu. Sovereign. Wang Yu's expression changed greatly. He had long heard of the sovereign's strength. A third-step cultivator, this kind of power was not something they could resist. Brat, consume all the celestial jades and spirit stones. This old man will use the power of the heavens to pull that brat Wang Lin out of the illusory space. Okay. Hearing the heaven's fate bead's words, Wang Yu agreed without hesitation. In the name of the heavens, reality returns to reality and illusion returns to illusion. The heaven's fate bead's voice echoed in Wang Yu's mind. A mysterious power, the power of the law of the world, swept across the void and shrouded the entire planet. Inside the fishing the moon in the well illusion, an earth-shattering palm smashed down. Boom! The entire illusory world shook violently with an earth-shattering sound. Then, he missed. The sovereign suddenly realized that his palm had hit nothing. The moment his palm was about to land, Wang Lin disappeared. To be more accurate, Wang Lin had escaped from the illusory space. Who is this? What else exists on planet Suzaku? He actually broke my fishing the moon in the well spell? The sovereign raised his head in shock and looked around. However, he didn't find anyone with the same strength as him. There was actually such an accident? Then this old man has to be serious. The sovereign was about to become serious and directly attack Wang Lin. Just as he was about to attack, the world changed greatly. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The whole cavern world shook violently with this loud noise. Matter forms the door, order forms the law. A vast voice resounded in the sky, reverberating throughout the cave world. Cave world door, open! Commanding the heavens and earth, the law followed. With this command, a huge portal opened in the void of the cave world. It was a brilliant portal that led to freedom and hope. The gate formed by the light was like the gate to the heavens. Amidst the shock and anticipation of countless people, it slowly opened. Brilliant light circulated, and the scene on the other side of the door was displayed in the eyes of all the creatures in the cave world. In the world on the other side of the door, the 9 suns filled the sky and shone brightly. The world on the other side of the door was filled with immortal clouds and boundless spiritual energy. Is that the immortal world? Those who didn't know about the existence of the immortal astral continent looked up at this scene and muttered to themselves in shock. Immortal aura. That's immortal aura. The door is open. The door to the cavern world has been opened. Great. That's great. How many years has it been? How many years had he been trapped in the cavern world? Now we can finally go back. There were many existences from the immortal astral continent in the cave world created by the 7-colored celestial sovereign. Most of them were the disciples and relatives of the 7-colored celestial sovereign. Ever since Lien Daofei broke in and destroyed the 7-colored celestial sovereign's soul, these people had been trapped in the cave world, unable to leave. Tap, tap, tap. At this moment, light footsteps came from the door hanging high in the sky. The footsteps seemed very light, but these light footsteps spread throughout the cave world. Someone is coming out. Who could it be? A celestial? In the cave world, countless people who saw this scene became curious. Which third-step cultivator has arrived? Could it be the power of the celestial imperial city? Back then, Lord Lien Daofei was trapped in the cave world. Did someone from the imperial city finally open the door and come here? The sovereign's eyes lit up. He had long since given up on Wang Lin. Because, if someone from the celestial imperial city really did come, Then he would be in big trouble. As Lien Daofei's servant, the sovereign didn't know where Lien Daofei was or if he was dead or alive. If his superiors asked, he wouldn't be able to answer at all. With the tempers of those Empyrean exalts, they would probably slap him to death. Damn it! This is big trouble. He had always wanted to leave the cave world, but when it was time to leave, the sovereign found that if he couldn't find Lien Daofei, he wouldn't be able to return at all. Unlike the sovereign, the subordinates left behind by the seven-colored celestial sovereign were looking forward to this. Tap, tap, tap. The footsteps came closer and closer. Gradually, a youth wearing a golden crown and white robe walked out of the door of light. He appeared in the cave world and in front of everyone. It's him. It's that Empyrean exalt from before. Seeing Li Yu's appearance, everyone let out a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were very confused. Why did this Empyrean exalt come out of the cave world? What did he want to do? Announce to all living beings. The door to the cave world has opened. This door is the door to ascension. All living beings of the cave world cannot stay after reaching the third step. They must ascend to the upper realm. Second step cultivators can pass through for 3 days without hindrance. After 3 days, the door to ascension will close. Only those who have reached the third step can ascend to the upper realm. Li Yu stood in front of the door of light, and his mighty voice spread through this world. This was the rule, this was the order. Li Yu had copied the heavenly Tao of the cave world and merged it into his own great Tao. The main body of the heavenly Tao was stored in the heavenly Fate Pearl. There was no difference between being in the heavenly Fate Pearl and being in Li Yu's hands. Using the power of the heavenly Fate Pearl's heavenly Tao, Li Yu's words were the laws of heaven and earth. We obey. All the third step cultivators felt the repulsive force of heaven and earth and involuntarily flew toward the door of light in the sky. This included the sovereign. Li Yu's unintentional action directly solved the biggest crisis facing Wang Lin. Now that the third step cultivators had ascended, the second step cultivators could no longer sit still. Many of the second step cultivators that wanted to leave flew toward the door of ascension. We thank the Empyrean sovereign for his kindness. The second step and third step cultivators of the cave world arrived before the door of light and bowed at Li Yu. Then they passed through the door of light and entered the immortal astral continent. Li Yu no longer paid any attention to the cultivators that had left through the door of light. He walked through the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning celestial realms. The mysterious yellow energy moved and the shattered continents of the celestial realms fused back into one. The yin and yang energy moved and re-established the laws of the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning celestial realms. When the 4 celestial realms were reconstructed, Li Yu made a second announcement. Announcing to all living beings, I opened the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning celestial realms in this world. Anyone who reaches the second step can ascend to the celestial realm. All second step cultivators of the cave world must ascend to the celestial realm and cannot stay in the mortal realm. After this announcement came out, all the second step cultivators of the cave world that didn't want to go to the immortal astral continent all ascended to the 4 celestial realms. At this point, the new order of the cave world was completed. The heavenly Fate Pearl had become the heavenly Tao of the cave world. Wang Yu, the master of the heavenly Tao, was now worthy of his title. As for Wang Lin, even if his wife hadn't died, with his personality, he would have continued to cultivate until he reached the heaven-trampling realm. Now there is only one last thing left. I still have to let Wang Lin refine limo. Chapter 448. Wang Lin isn't easy to fool. With Wang Lin's current strength, it was impossible for him to refine Slaughter Doppelganger. Therefore, Li Yu could only provide most of the things he needed, such as the Slaughter origin and the Annihilation origin, and then let Wang Lin split his spirit to refine the doppelganger. However, this was the most difficult part. A guy like Wang Lin was simply too cunning. It was really too difficult to get him to obediently provide a divine clone. To convince Wang Lin, he can only convince himself. Liu reached out and pointed. A mysterious radiance bloomed on his fingertip. Time flowed. Past, present, future, instant, eternity, endless visions flowed in the radiance. The river of time was displayed in front of Liu. The Tao of time is the origin of heaven and earth that I've come into contact with the most. Although the initial, infinite scripture focused on refining one's body, after reaching the immortal foundation, he began to come into contact with the Tao of time of heaven and earth originate from the beginning, and all things return to nothing. The great Zen temples past, present, and future scriptures, the supreme path's universe scriptures, and the eternal path of instant. Until now, Liu had achieved the origin of heaven and earth, manifesting the yin and yang qi, and walking in the sky. At this moment, Liu was fully equipped with the power to retrace time. Limo, let me meet you first. The river of time flowed in front of Liu. Liu's figure rippled like water. It was as if he didn't exist in this world, but also as if he had always existed. You have the flowing time technique. I also have the reverse time tracing technique. With a point of his finger, the river of time rippled like water. In front of Liu, it was like a movie rewinding. Countless scenes flowed in reverse. Tracing, until the scene rewound to before Wang Lin was born, the figure Liu was looking for appeared. Black hair, black robe, cold killing intent and deep darkness exuded from his body. It was as if this figure represented the destination of death and extinction. Who are you? The moment Liu saw this figure, the pitch-black figure suddenly turned around. Its pitch-black and ice-cold eyes were like an abyss of ice. Lin Mo, you've been through countless dream Tao reincarnations. You've experienced countless despair and heart-wrenching pain. Are you still not tired of it? A dot of light bloomed, and Liu's figure appeared in front of Lin Mo Dai. A beam of destructive light condensed from slaughter and darkness tore through the sky like a beam of sword light. It slashed down at Liu, who had just appeared. As expected of the slaughtered doppelganger, without any hesitation, he slashed down with his sword. Indeed, he is very decisive in killing. Of course, Liu was already mentally prepared for the fact that Lin Mo was not easy to talk to. However, was this not too easy to talk to? This kind of person who slashes people for no reason is the most troublesome. Liu sighed helplessly and pointed with his finger. Freeze! In Liu's hands, the fixed body technique had already evolved into stillness. Time stood still and space froze. Liu's attainments in the path of time and the path of space were deeper than Lin Mo's. Therefore, Lin Mo was not immune to Liu's fixed body technique. Lin Mo pointed with his finger and froze Lin Mo. Although he could not freeze Lin Mo for a long time, a moment was enough. I'm not here to fight. I'll show you something. Liu pointed with his finger and transmitted everything that had happened to Wang Lin and the others since he had arrived in this world into Lin Mo's mind. Naturally, these scenes were recorded by the Destiny Jewel. In order to persuade Lin Mo, he had to show him something. Otherwise, he would have to roll up his sleeves and fight. Who's he? Is he cultivating? Immortal Pu Nan is dead? The Heng Yu sect is not destroyed? Ting Huayuan is dead? The Wang family is not destroyed? Are his parents still alive? Red Butterfly, Zhou Yi, Qing Shuang, Qing Shui, and Wan Er. She's not dead. Lin Mo's heart was beating violently when he saw those familiar people with completely different fates, especially when he saw the figure that had haunted his dreams. Lin Mo's eyes widened in shock. With Lin Mo's cultivation, he could tell that these were not illusions. They were all real and had really happened. So, Liu smiled at Lin Mo and waved his hand to dispel the fixed body technique. Young man, your method won't work. This is the only way it will work. Wan is not dead. Ha ha. Ha ha. Wan is not dead. Lin Mo's face was no longer cold and expressionless. Instead, it was filled with ecstasy. I reversed time and space just to keep your weak figure. I overturned heaven and earth just to remember your beautiful face. I shattered the sky just to show you the way home. Time could not stop me. Heaven and earth could not erase my will. When I looked back, I realized that Wan you're back. You're back. No. She has never left. Liu glanced at Lin Mo and smiled. Young man, are you satisfied with this ending that has no sadness or pain? What do you want me to do? Of course, Lin Mo knew that there was no such thing as selfless devotion in this world. Since Liu had made a move, he must have had his reasons. My purpose is simple. I want to straighten out the timeline that you've messed up. Liu extended his hand to Lin Mo. Give me a copy of your memory, and give me a part of your origin. I want you to refine the slaughtered doppelganger in the future. That's it? Lin Mo did not believe Liu's request. You've suffered too much. Everyone looks like they want to take advantage of you. Why don't you think that at my level, what do you have that's worth me taking advantage of? Liu snorted and pursed his lips unhappily. You're stronger than me. Lin Mo nodded. Your path is also different from mine. My things are useless to you. Lin Mo patted his chest. A ball of light that was as black as ink and as heavy as mercury rushed out of Lin Mo's chest. Immediately, a crystal-like light spot flew out from between Lin Mo's eyebrows. This is my origin and memory. Lin Mo extended his hand and handed the black light and the crystal light spot over. Very good. Liu waved his hand and stored Lin Mo's origin and memory into the resource vault. Then, see you later. Liu smiled and waved at Lin Mo. His body flashed and he crossed the river of time and returned to the moment before. To you, it's see you later. To me, it's a long wait. Lin Mo looked at Liu's disappearing figure and a smile appeared on his face. A world without sadness and pain? I'm really looking forward to it. In the void, Liu crossed the river of time and returned to the present. The ripples in front of him disappeared and the vague figure solidified again. Nothing seemed to have changed. The real change is coming. Liu looked at Lin Mo's origin and memory in the resource vault and a smile appeared on his face. The beginning is the end. The starting point is the end. Young man, the intersection of the past and the future is about to be solved in my hands. Recommended an urban novel, The Concentration of Great Gods. The novel was quite creative. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.